Wait for some people to get in here. We had to restart this because it just wasn't working out. Let me see over here. Live. Hopefully this doesn't have no fucking sound. Ah, shit. What's going on, guys? Appreciate you guys jumping right back in here. Hope it's much better. Good. Love to hear that. Let me I'm trying to pull this up really quick. Take me 2 seconds. I already got it mostly done. Live. Bam. Hopefully there's no sound on here. There shouldn't be. Oh wait, why the hell? Hey, are you guys on widescreen right now? This isn't supposed to be. I might pull back out if that's the case. Let me just see something. Yeah. Fuck. No, it's just I know it's a vertical, but I'm saying, is the screen acting like it's a widescreen and it's cut off, or is it the whole thing? Hopefully it's right. I'm just gonna play vertical on your phone. I know it is vertical, but I just mean, like, is the whole screen vertical? I hope so. How's everybody doing? I'm a damn wreck. Good, cool. Hey dude, new sub here. If a factory edge is say 15 and I sharpen it to 20, does the knife get sharp at all? Yeah, it'll just if your edge is already a 15 degree and you sharpen a 20 degree bevel, you can basically look at that as either a micro bevel. You can still be very sharp. A 20 degree bevel is a normal edge that most factory knives come with. That, or you can look at it as if you remove all the material, where you literally remove the whole 15 degree bevel and you're only left with the 20 degree bevel, then it's a 20 degree edge bevel, and that'll be just fine. It's a tougher edge, perfectly a fine edge. Like, this is probably a 20 degree bevel on that. We're going to actually sharpen it here in a second. Whole screen. Don't mess. Yeah, whole screen vertically though, right? Because I was worried about, because like over here, man, it's showing it where it's like it's wide and it's just the center of the screen, and I don't want that. What's up, Ma? But yeah, anyway, so I'm dealing with this ear thing, and I guess I got a retracted eardrum. I got fluid behind the eardrum and a hole in my eardrum, so it's been pretty messed up. But because of that, it's I can't pronounce the word, but it's like echolopylene tube or whatever, what connects your ears and your nose, and it builds up with fluid, and I constantly have to like blow my nose and shit. They'll just start running out of nowhere. Do you still sharpen? No, I don't do a sharpening service anymore because I couldn't keep up and I was having to charge people way too much. But I do have somebody that I can recommend to you. If you have Instagram, I can tell you how to get a hold of him right now. It's Boston Knife Works on Instagram. He'll take good care of you. He does a great job. Awesome guy, out of Boston. But yeah, you wouldn't want me doing it, man. It costs way too much, and I wouldn't even take it on anyways. What's your stropping process? Do you start with high micron? No, not at all. What I do is, it depends on what I'm doing, right? But let's say I'm sharpening. I'm just sharpening my edge, and then after sharpening, I'm stropping. I'm only worried about stropping to clean in between my micro serrations that I just sharpened onto my bevel. So I only want a couple passes, like literally like 3 or 4, maybe 5 passes. Now, if it's a really toothy edge, maybe more, right? You do have to strop, as much as it takes, but it depends on how fine the edge is, how hard the burr was to remove, all those things. But I try to strop as little as possible. Now, if I'm trying to strop to a mirror polish, which I typically don't like to do nor recommend, then I'll do a progression, right? So I'll sharpen up to like 5,000 grit or 10,000 grit, and then I'll maybe go 3, 2, 1/4, and then 0.1 micron or something for stropping. But the reason why I don't usually recommend that is because typically when you do that, if you have a fixed angled system, it can work. But if you're not using a fixed angled system, it can it'll basically round your apex because there's just too much stropping. You have too much room for error. That's why the least amount of stropping is better. Hey, Ken's, man, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. 20 bones. Hey, Neeves, recently got into your channel. Appreciate your content. I assume, as with all things in life, sometimes it takes longer to learn a skill. I've watched multiple content creators sharpen and am only decent. Any tips? Yeah, man. One, obviously, watch my sharpening playlist. I have an entire playlist, so definitely watch those. I have a lot of details that I think will definitely help you, because I tried to make videos. Watch my videos from the past 3 years, maybe 4 at the most, but 3 years is really going to help you. But you know, I try to give as many details as I can so that it helps people like you. But you do have to get time on the stone. That's a thing. You know, it's kind of like I can tell you how to ride a motorcycle all I want, but unless if you're riding a motorcycle, you're only going to be so good, right? It does take the muscle memory and, you know, the confidence and everything else. So stay on the stone, keep working at it. Make sure you're using diamonds. That will change a lot. I don't know what you're using. Use diamonds though, and stop listening to everybody else. There's only a couple people I would recommend you listen to. One being like Outdoors 55, and then myself. And the only reason why I'm saying it, listen, I want you to get information from everybody. The reason why I'm saying that is because one sharpener will pull you one direction, another sharpener will pull you, you'll be butting heads. Like, I listen to all kinds of sharpeners while I'm spending, I don't know, thousands of dollars on all different types of stones and this and that, just to find out that I'm never going to use those stones again, and half the information I got wasn't good. Keith, what's up, brother? Thank you for the 5 bones. If you just carry a Daleka, you won't need to sharpen it at all. There you go. Dalekas all day. I've got a Damascus blade. I've been having some less than ideal results sharpening. Yeah, don't sharpen that. I would say, I don't want to say throw it away. I don't know what type of Damascus it is, but most Damascus is shit. Especially like Pakistani Damascus, like the cheap custom looking knives that you see all over the place, you know, all over Amazon and shit like that. Junk. If it's coming from a reputable brand, Civivi, Concept, something like that, then it's usually good, but not the random no-name brands. I wouldn't trust it at all. They're typically the super soft and just like bad. Which the soft part is the reason why you're just not going to be able to get it sharp, if that's the case. What's up, bro? Hope you're doing well. I know that your situation must suck. Yes, it does. Hopefully that gets, yeah, I hope so too, man. It's been driving me nuts, man. It's like it's popping in and out. Even like right now talking, like it just keeps popping, and like I can hear my voice coming out of my fucking ear. It's really weird. I ripped out my eardrum when I was young, and then I've popped it 3 or 4 times in fights, and I've never had any of them like this, because this time, instead of me ripping it out, it's sucked inward, and then it also has a hole, so it's like a double whammy, and then there's fluid behind it, so I guess a triple whammy. Hey, Mom, I trust only Miss everyone. Thank you, Mom. I love you. Appreciate you jumping in to say hi. The one I messed up is Damasteel. Ooh, yeah, Damasteel. That's usually really good. That's CPM 154 or RWL 34. That's tough. I know that shit's expensive. Why don't you contact Boston Knife Works and ask him to fix it up for you? He'll take good care of you. But if you're not confident with it right now, I would say just stop. Don't mess it up any further. You can always get it repaired. Don't worry. So don't think you ruined the knife or anything. Just, you know, let somebody else take care of it, and then practice on a Civivi or a Sun Cut. That's why I always recommend Civivis and Sen cuts are very easy to sharpen. They usually have a good heat treatment. They're thin behind the edge. They have all the things you want in a knife to practice sharpening. Now we are going to just lower you down just a little bit like that so we can see the damn sharpening stone. Probably should have moved that away. Hey, Neeves, recently got it. Oh, I already read that one. Member for 33 months. What up, Todd? Thank you for jumping in. Getting close to that 3-year mark. Hell yeah. So, speaking of members, tomorrow night, I am doing a live knife sale. Members are coming first. So, I'm going to do a members live for 45 minutes to an hour, specifically to show you guys some of the stuff for sale. Give you guys first dibs. We do have a giveaway. I'm going to do the giveaway probably a couple days after that. And then hopefully be able to ship all the stuff all at once. But either way, the giveaway will be a couple days after that. But I got to get this sale done like as soon as possible. So tomorrow night, doing the knife sale, and members are coming first. So if you are a member, you will have first dibs. And yeah, and obviously, you know, the giveaway thing will be just right around the corner. But definitely try to show up to that. I'll probably go live on public probably about 8, so I'll probably do 7 o'clock for the members. What's up, Jared? What's going on, Eric? Is the Zarok system worth the $90? Yeah, absolutely. Just make sure you get their single clamp. They have a clamp that that they wound up making after I recommended, because I was telling people to go buy the TSPROF one. So in order to get away from losing the money to that, they made their own. So they do have a center clamp. Make sure you get that. Get yourself a TRM Bulldog. It's an awesome knife. Yep, Bulldog is an awesome knife. All the TRMs are really good. Spyderco Shaman 15V are going for $400 on the secondary market. Any thoughts on the resale value of 15V? Will Spyderco make more in the future? Yeah. So pretty much all their models are, so that's triple B's steel. So basically, they're allowing basically triple B or anything that has 15V to be a collaboration with triple B, which is really awesome. So I would say that, sorry, we're going to talk about stones and stuff here in a second. But yeah, they're going to keep going. They're going to keep going. They'll keep doing stuff. Now, there might be some exclusive limited runs that might not come back, but they're going to continue doing stuff with them. Talk to the peeps at TRM. Hoping to get a job there. Awesome, man. That's cool. Single clamp, or will there L? So if they have L brackets, get the L brackets. But the L brackets, the L attachments, you can get from TSPROF. That would be really good, but I don't, you know, they're going to be more expensive. So if you're already buying that system, you're probably trying to save money. So, you know, you can just buy the single attachment from Zarok instead of getting the single clamp from TSPROF. You can just get the one that's, I have it actually in my store. So if you go down in my description right now, the Neeves Knives Amazon store has all that stuff in there, the single clamp, everything. Okay, so sharpening stones. How do you pick sharpening stones when you're going to sharpen? So whenever you're going to start sharpening, I'm just going to recommend one, diamond plates. Always get diamond plates. This is diamond stones. They're very expensive. So if you have that type of money, you can do that. But if not, get diamond plates. Sharpall links are down in the description. You can find the Sharpall link. And you can get something like this. It's a double-sided diamond plate. It'll come with an angle guide and even a base. Now, if you want to get a really good base, you can go to NEEVEKNIFECO, also linked at the top of the description. And then you can get something like this, which just comes apart. What's cool is it's plastic, so you don't have to spin the things. You can just push this handle and slide. So I like this base, but I have multiple other bases. We might even get some different ones on the site, but these are really good. Get diamond plates. Diamond plates are what you want. Diamond plates are going to work for everything. That's the beauty of it. Doesn't matter if you are sharpening stuff like this. Let's cut that damn edge off. Look at that. Ah, yeah. Wreck that damn edge. So this is my stones. These are NEEVEKNIFECO hybrid bonded stones. You can see the damn logo there with the thumbprint. That's our new logo. You can see it right here. Check this out. You're cut from a different cloth. I'm the cutter. New shirts are coming soon on NEEVEKNIFECO. Hi, Jared from the Bahamas. Shout out to the Bahamas, sir. What would you prefer, hybrid diamond stones or hybrid CBN? Doesn't matter. So CBN technically is a little bit better than diamond, but that's usually for diamond plates. The reason why is they cut ever so slightly faster, but the more important thing is they last a little bit longer. But when you're talking about bonded stones that pretty much last you forever anyways, you will never notice a difference with bonded stones. You'll only ever notice a difference if you're using diamond plates, and that's if you're doing a shit ton of sharpening and you have two stones that you do the equal amount of sharpening on. You'll never notice a difference. Diamond, CBN, save the money, just get diamond. $199. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate it, man. Can you talk a bit about micro beveling? How do you do it and when should you do it? Yeah, I can talk about micro beveling. So micro beveling, there's multiple ways to use it. One way would be after you've sharpened your knife, right? Your knife is nice and sharp. And let's say you start using it throughout the day. And let's say you notice because you should be checking your edge, throughout the day. Make sure you're not getting chips, microchips, anything like that. And let's say you feel the tiniest little microchips. That would be a time to grab a ceramic or a diamond rod and just do a couple gentle, like even this right here. You just seen me dull this, right? I could probably micro bevel this right now and bring back the sharpness. Now, that would be one way. So basically you're microchipping a little bit, so you need to add a little toughness to your edge. Another way is it's going dull and you need to bring it back sharp really quickly, meaning I don't have time to do a full sharpening. I only have a few seconds, so you do a quick micro bevel. Yeah, I damaged the shit out of that one. That one's probably not gonna work too good, but yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit tough when you do as much damage as I did on that one. You did diamond rods, but if you had a diamond rod, you could absolutely micro bevel this really quickly. I put a lot of damage on it when I just grinded it into there, but that would be another way to bring back. There you go. Bam. See that? Holy shit. I didn't think that was going to work. To bring back an edge to get the job done. Then another way is, like, say if you have a low angle edge and you want, somewhat of a low angle edge, but you also want a little toughness, you would add a micro bevel to the apex. The way you do it is you sharpen at one angle and then you micro bevel at another. But when you're talking about normal micro beveling, I'm going to do a full video on a professional micro bevel. But the way the average people are going to micro bevel is you're going to sharpen your knife, and then when you start using it throughout the day, throughout the week, you're going to start going dull, and you're not going to want to come back to here, and you're going to go just like this, ever so gently. It's going to be like maybe 3, 4, 5 passes per side, no pressure, and you're just going to go like that. Maybe a little tiny, maybe like 1 or 2 pounds of pressure, and that's it. And then you'll have a nice sharp edge, and it'll keep going for a lot longer. But typically micro bevels are to toughen your edge up because of microchipping, or to keep an edge sharper longer. Like pull-through sharpeners, they're micro beveling your edge, but they're doing it in the most crude, violent way to your edge, a way you don't want to do to your edge. I don't really understand deburring. Even on a fixed angle sharpening system with Klein angle finder, I can't slide through paper towel. Okay, so I'm going to explain burr removal here in 1 second. I'm going to explain burrs here in 1 second. So we understand stones, right? Diamond plates. Only diamond plates. Nothing else. Fuck everything else. Diamond plates. You can get a ceramic rod, diamond plates, and then a strop. Specifically, my stuff, stroppy stuff from NEEVEKNIFECO. But really, any stropping, any strop will work. My stuff is the best because it's a diamond emulsion, but it is a little bit more expensive. Team Miley with the 5 bones. Apparently, YouTube won't let me be the low country hillbilly anymore, but I'm glad to see you live from my government name again, J-Rad. Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate the donation. All right, so Angle, right? Angles are typically hard for people to figure out. So I'm going to give it the most simplest, basic, fucking no questions asked type of way. This knife and this knife, I can pretty much do the exact same angle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the middle of my damn thumb. I'm going to show you really quick. So let's say this is the middle of my thumb, right? I'm going to draw a line there. That line, I'm going to use the top of the bevel. So if it's going to be this, it's going to be the top right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back about an inch or two from the tip. I'm going to set this down. I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to line, you know what, just to make it so you guys really know. See this? About a couple inches from the nose, a couple inches from the nose. Okay, so you guys see it's the same. Take this thumb, I'm gonna put it right there, and I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna match it up, the top of it. Top to line. See the line? Top, right? Then set it down. That is going to be an okay angle for almost everything out there. There's gonna be some rare examples where it's not. This is almost always. Now, let's say it is a little different. You could always go with the bottom part. You know, like you can fluctuate it a little bit even on this line because you have this part of the spine or this part. I always go with the top. Once you have that, right? Once you have that, now you don't have to grind your thumb across it. You can float it across or not do anything with it and literally just find your angle, right? Find your angle. And once you have it, remove this, but lock all this in place, right? I'm not going to move this. I'm only going to move basically this and my elbow. So this is okay to move as long as I don't go like this. So as long as this doesn't move this way or this way or this way. So once I'm locked in, bam, locked in, I'm focusing my attention right here. I can move this and then I can just use these fingers, or I can still use this finger, but I'm not grinding it on the stone, focusing at the heel, and I'm locked in right here, right? Locked in, so I'm not going to move my angle. Now, as I go across the stone, I just lift my elbow to get to the tip. I don't have to do too much lifting because as you can see, that's it. That's all I got to lift right there, bam. So if I start at the heel, I'm coming across the stone. In order to get to the tip, I just lift that much. So once I have my angle, bam. Now, this motherfucker, I should have grabbed my rubber mat. And then, so now I'm matching it up. Now, the reason why you made the lines was just so that you had a repeat spot. Now, I'm going to show you guys another thing. So, you guys seen it on this one already, right? Same exact thing with this one. Bam, bam. All right. I think I might have to, yeah, I need a little bit more distance. So, I'm going to do this one a little bit back here just because this is a little too close. So, let's just say right there. Now you can do it at an angle so you get more stone, but same thing. Now I can just lock in my wrist and basically do a rotation. This rotation will work just fine. I'm ever so slightly moving the elbow, but not really. I'm mostly just turning into and pushing this finger in. So now I don't have to worry about my angle because my wrist is locked, right? Right now, I haven't moved my angle yet, guys, because I have not moved my wrist or my forearm. As long as I don't do that, now when I go to the other side, I can take this, trace it, and kiss it on this finger, and then do the same thing, but like this with the pointer finger. And then lock in, just pull back and forth. So that's around, typically for me, the middle of my fingers, typically around 17 degrees per side. Now, not everybody, everybody doesn't have to do that. You can get a little angle guide. You can use a few quarters, stack them up. I have a video on what approximately like 3/4 is. I forget what it is. I think it's like, I don't know. You gotta go watch the video. I got a Kershaw blur with curved edge. I used a KME. I get a hair shaving sharp, not hair popping. If I don't use them in about a month, they dull over time. Everything dulls. It just depends on your use and what steel. You're probably using 14C28N. It's a good steel, but it's a budget steel. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how long do I sharpen for? How long does this, well, let's talk about pressure first. How much pressure do I put? So when you are actually doing sharpening, so there's different pressures depending on what you're doing. Like if you're micro beveling, there's different pressures. If I'm removing a burr, there's different pressure. If I'm sharpening, different pressure. When you're sharpening, you can add, you want to let the diamonds or the stone do the work, but you can add about 5 to 6 pounds of pressure. How do you know how much pressure? You don't. So basically all you're going to do is you're going to add however much pressure. I know my table goes back and forth. I need to get a new one. You can add as much pressure as you can handle, as long as you can put pressure straight down like this without fucking up your angle. It doesn't matter. You can add 100 pounds of pressure. Doesn't matter as long as it doesn't mess with your angle. Typically, people can withstand about 2 to 6 pounds of pressure without it being a problem, because you also have to be able to do this the whole time without fatiguing. Now, if your forearm is not used to holding that angle and you start feeling fatigued, just stop. It's okay. Stop, take a quick break, and look at your edge. You want to do that because you need to be able to see your edge and what's happening. So I'm already almost done with this. I got to grab something to show you guys, because what you guys need to understand is the scratch pattern, and this is going to help explain the burr. Your goal when you're sharpening is for your edge to look like this after. These are your micro serrations. This is obviously microscopically. You see how I zoomed in right there, like my artistry. So each scratch from the diamond is a micro serration, right? These are obviously much tighter together. This is obnoxiously big. This would be like a serrated blade, but that's basically what it is on a microscopic level. So when you're sharpening, you can see, let me see if I can show you on this one. No, I need a bigger bevel. Maybe this one will help. You might be able to see it on here, but just see the little, maybe not. There's little scratches, right? Now, when you're like halfway done, the scratches will be halfway from the top of the bevel to the apex. That means you're not finished yet, right? You need the scratches to go all the way from the top of the bevel to the apex. Let me see if I have one in here. This shows that. Oh, this is a micro bevel. There you go. There's a micro bevel explained. This little guy, micro bevel. This is your edge bevel, and that would be the micro bevel. I'm going to explain the burr, but I'm going to have to create one first. But basically, it's when your bevel is like the picture I just showed you, when it's set from heel to tip. Now, you might get a little bit of burr here and a little bit here and not here or not right here. Of course, that's just because the scratches from, because some parts are thinner and thicker, so some parts sharpen faster than others. So you just keep going. But basically, you keep looking at it and look at your scratches. See if they've reached the apex. Just look at them. You want to look at the scratches and see. Not sure if you guys can see that. It's hard to do this live, but the scratches are very obvious to the naked eye, okay? And if you struggle with sight, you can get one of these. This is high deal. There's a bunch of different kinds. Amazon. You go to the Neeves Knives Amazon store down in the description, and you can pick one of these up for like 15 bucks. Just look it up. Digital handheld microscope. So if you look here, once I can get it, let me see if you guys can see. So the scratches are basically reaching the apex right now. You can see that. Let's go all the way down. Let's find a spot that hasn't. Okay, right here. So if you look at the heel, it's not quite, it's going to be hard to see, but it's not quite, yeah, you guys can't see it. Let me see this side. I'll try to do just a little bit on this side and then show you. Okay. If you look at this side, you'll see the scratches are only at the top of the bevel right there. So they have not hit the, there you go. You can see the factory edge is the bottom part. The top part is my new edge. See how you can see the scratches starting? You can see that with your naked eye. You don't even need one of these to see that. But if you have problems with eyes or if you just want one, it's good to have. Jeweler's loop also works. But then once you can see the scratches and you're observing them, watch them, pay attention to them, because you want them to work their way from the top of the bevel down to the apex. The thing you're putting, and the thing you're sharpening is the bevel. That's the edge bevel. So the entirety of the bevel is what you want to see the scratches going from top to bottom. And the second you get this down pat, man, it changes everything for you in, sorry guys, like I said, nothing I can do about it. Changes everything for you in the kitchen, in life, because having a sharp knife, man, everything is better from, you know, from work, kitchen stuff, opening things, even like just ease of, like, say if you bought a bag of chips, right? People are trying to tear them open and stuff. Me, I ain't tore a bag of chips open in probably 5, 6, 7 years. I just right across. I got the perfect cut every time. Perfect opening to a bag of chips. Okay, so that actually looks really good where the scratches have not reached the apex yet, but the bevel's looking really good. So you can see that they have not reached yet. Now, the goal is for them to reach the apex, because if they don't reach the apex, there's no burr. You can't get a burr. Remember, the burr is so important to make sure. So let me just find it so you guys can. Okay. See, the scratch pattern is almost to the apex. It's literally right before the apex. So just got to keep going until they reach that apex. And right now, like I said, lock your forearm and just basically, I'm basically pulling in, lifting elbow, pushing back. Yes, you can go back and forth like this, or you can just do single passes. Whichever one's easier for you. A lot of people are going to find it's easier to push back and forth. However, most people are going to convex when they do that. It's not a big deal. No problem with convexing. You can do that. The convex edges are still good quality edges. A convex edge is just a more rounder edge bevel instead of a flat bevel. Typically, they're tougher. And then I'm going to get to the questions here in 1 second. Just let me develop the burr. So I got a burr. So now my scratches have reached the apex. Right here's got a little burr, but from here all the way up to a big burr. So right here's a very little burr. I'm okay with that. And so now both sides have gotten a burr. So now, sharpen this side, I sharpen this side, okay? So now I'd be going to my next stone. Here's the part with the burr, okay? This is important because in order for your burr to easily and cleanly come off in the end, you want to make sure that it comes off naturally in the end. You don't want to just tear it off. So what I like to do, remember, we just got done sharpening this side. So my burr is on this side. Whatever side you just sharpened, it's the opposite side. I sharpened this side just now, so my burr is on this side, and you can feel it. Just take your finger and rub up, just like that. You'll feel it snagging your skin. So now what I'm going to do, after I get my stone set, I'm going to do an edge trailing pass very gently. This isn't about pressure or anything like that. It's just to make sure that burr snags the stone and flips over to the other side. I just want to move it out of the way. Might do 2 or 3 times. One more time, bam, right there. Okay, now it's on the other side. It's out of the way. I flipped it over. Every time so next time when I go back to this side, I'm going to flip it over again. Every time I go to the opposite side, I'm going to keep flipping it over. And throughout my sharpening, it's going to keep going bam, 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 bam. And then by the time I'm to my burr removal, it's just going to snap off. It's just going to easily pop off, and it'll be very easy. And that's what reveals a super sharp edge, is your ability to make that burr removal. If it's not fatigued and it doesn't naturally pop off, then, you know, it's a lot more crude, and typically it leads to a less sharp edge, microchipping, yada, yada, yada. Now, yes, you will run into pesky burrs, like A super hard steel, typically the burr's gonna pop off easy. A shit steel, a garbage, shit, junk, junk drawer steel, it might be very difficult for you to remove the burr. So that's gonna be not necessarily on you. There's nothing you can do about that. It's a shit burr. You can take a piece of wood and score your edge through it and try to remove it. But to be honest, it's much better to just find something with a proper steel. It'll be a lot easier. Rickert, shout out to Rickert with the Rocksteads, man. Appreciate it. Todd, I think, says there's a donny. Or maybe he's just talking about Rickert. Shout out to Rickert, man. Appreciate you joining, man. Shout out to the Rocksteads. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow I am doing a live knife sale. All the members are going to get first dibs. So I'm going live with members only about 7 o'clock. And then until 7 to 8 o'clock, something like that. And then 8 o'clock, I'm going to go live with everybody. So for 1 hour, the members will have the opportunity to get first dibs on anything from the knife sale. And then we'll do the giveaway a couple days after. What is that? What exactly about, like, how do you know it is there? You can feel, yeah, you can feel it. It's a wire. So basically, like when I'm sharpening this side right now, I'm removing steel, right, from this side of the bevel. And what's happening is as I'm removing steel, steel is rolling over like this. So as I remove it, I'm removing it, and as soon as it gets to the apex, it goes like this. So then what you'll do is you'll feel like it's just rough. If you feel the side you're sharpening on, you'll feel it smooth. Like literally just go like this. You want your skin to kind of roll over the edge like that, not like this, like this. And then on the side that it's on, you'll feel the difference. But it's just rough. Think about this. If you took a stick, right? If I took a stick right now, let's say I'm sharpening a stick. Everybody sharpened a stick before. You know how when you sharpen a stick, the tip will have like this piece that's like a hanging fucking retarded piece that's not very sharp? That's like the burr, basically. So once you're done with your first stone, all the other stones will go much faster, unless if you're absolutely trying to get a perfect mirror or a really good mirror. Then you might spend a little more time on your medium grits because you want to get all your coarse scratches out. I'm not going very fine with this. I'm only going to go to about 600 grit with this, so I'm not really worried about that. My bevel looks pretty good. Well, I can flatten it out a little bit better. So I really could just flip right now and go to my other side. I just want to spend a little bit of time just flattening it out. And then now I'm going to go to this other side. And what did I say? I'm going to flip over and I'm going to do an edge trailing pass. All I'm doing is just flipping that burr back over to this side. Remember, we just got done sharpening this side. Burr's flipped over here, so it's on this side. I want to get it out of the way. Because if I just tear into the stone, what'll happen is it'll just rip the burr right off. Think about, like I showed you with the picture, right? Imagine like these being spikes. These are like little spikes, right? They're all going at an angle, right? I don't want my stone coming this way and hitting all those peaks and just tearing them off. It'd be better if I came this way and kind of just dominoed rallied them, right? Like just like, because they're all facing like this, right? I can either come this way and tear them all to shit, or I can come this way and just knock them all over. It's like, think about a saw blade, right? If all the teeth are facing one direction. So that's kind of the idea, because this is just a metal wire, right? So I'm flipping it over, getting it out of the way, and now work on this side. And you want to make sure you're replacing your entire scratch pattern from the first stone. Our first stone was an 80 grit. This is a 160. So we want our 160 to replace all the 80 grit scratches. And if you notice, I'm leaning in and out, letting my arm stay locked, and I'm just ever so slightly lifting my elbow. And eventually you get used to that feeling, and you'll be able to hold your edge angle really good. Look at that bevel. That bevel's looking beautiful. You can see the scratches look really uniform. I do have a burr. My bevel on this side's a little bit smaller. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to really quick flip my burr. I'm going to spend just about 60 more seconds over here to even up my bevel. Since this side's just a little tiny bit smaller, it could be the geometry of the knife. It might not even be my fault. It might be literally just the thickness of the grind. One side is probably a little bit thicker than the other. Not a big deal. I can literally even it out right now by working on the smaller side just a little bit longer. And voila, there we go. You got 5 new blades today? Hell yeah. I have an issue with one bevel being bigger than the other. Yeah, so that's why there's multiple things that can be happening. It could be you. It could be you and just your ability to hold one angle from one side to the other. I don't know if we're talking freehand or fixed angled, but either way, work on the smaller side longer. That'll typically even it out. Now, if it's dramatic, like it's real serious, then obviously you need to manipulate your angle. So like say if this side is the really small bevel and this side's a big bevel, then I'm going to raise the angle on this side, and this side I'm going to drop it ever so slightly to try to even it up. Now we have to grab our 235 or 285 and our 550. Yep, there we go. Oh no, 650, sorry. So we got the 285 here. That's a liquid dish soap and water. That's what I'm using, liquid dish soap and water. It works really good. I'm going to take these off. And then where were we? We were on this side, so I'll flip that over, flip it over, flip it over. And again, locking everything in, finding my spot. If I need to, like I said before, I can find my angle again if I need to. I have a little bit of trouble sometimes where one side I hold a little bit lower than the other side. So I naturally know that the feeling I have when I feel like it's perfect, I know it's off by a little bit. So I always just raise that side up just a little tiny bit, just to, you know, because I know. You figure those things out. What's the dish soap for? So the metal particles that are being removed from the stone, you don't want to clog, and you don't want to sit there and run your edge over, you know, the tops of the metal. You'd rather run over the stone and the diamonds, because this is like a resin mixed with diamonds, this stone. But when you have the soapy water, it lifts the metal particles up off of the surface and helps them just run off so that they're not, you know, clogging the stone basically. Looks good. Going a little bit slower for you guys. You guys can see. Just lifting my elbow at the tip ever so slightly. It's very gentle. And then coming back. I'm adding about 5-6 pounds of pressure, maybe that. Because that's not a big deal. I could add very little pressure. You want to add a little bit of pressure because, you know, the more pressure you add, the faster it does work. But you can't add too much pressure because otherwise you'll wind up making your angle go like this, and that'll just be detrimental. So, you know, don't worry about the pressure so much. Just put as much as you can handle. And like right now, if you look, I'm just leaning in, out, out. But what I'm doing is, if you look at my elbow, ever so slightly, I'm just like lifting it up, down. And it's just like, it's it's at a pace where it's very natural. I know I've done it a lot, but what I'm saying is everybody will get the hang of it, right? It's something that's just like such an easy thing to do. It's kind of like, you know, like say if you had to go like this, right? And then just go up, up, up. Same thing, you know, just doing it with your elbow. Same pressure on both. Yeah, I do. But so you don't have to do push and pull. You could just do push. But if you're going to do push and pull, I recommend doing the same pressure, because otherwise what will happen is your angle will change a little bit. Try to keep it pretty consistent. You don't have to. If you can maintain, you know, one more than the other, then so be it. But I think it's really good. I'm just going to work on this side just for a second. I see a little bit of faceting. Faceting is basically when I've changed my angle a little bit and I can see the line. So I'm just evening up my bevel a little bit, trying to make it as perfect as possible. Now this knife, I'm not so worried about getting it perfect because I'm going to wind up sharpening it again. I want to get a few sharpenings on. Oh, that looks perfect. I don't care about it being perfect because I'm going to use the shit out of it. I'm going to sharpen it again because I want to get through a few sharpenings on this because I want to get into that good steel and do some good testing on it. Okay, now we are going to the 650. This is our finishing stone. So what I'm going to do, again, flip my burr over, get it out of the way, work on this side. I felt the burr snag. So when I went to go forward, I felt the burr snag. So I, did a reverse pass just to get it out of the way. Now you can use these fingers as an indicator. Like if you look, my fingers are dragging across the stone. They're just not grinding into it. What they're doing is they're like floating. So I can tell if I drop this, my fingers feel it. They feel that, right? If I lift up, they feel that. So I can set them right there ever so gently. There's barely touching the spine. I'm barely putting a little bit of pressure forward, but mostly I'm floating them. And I'm allowing my arm to do most of the work. And then this is controlling the angle, making sure I'm not dropping or raising. And if I do start, I can feel it. A lot of it is just holding a position for a long time. Well, not a long time, but like as long as you can, right? That's a lot of what it is just holding a position. So what is the best way for you to hold a position, whatever that is? Everybody's gonna be a little different. It might be your thumb, it might be your fingers, it might be none of them, it might be just you locking your forearm in your wrist. This is the number one thing I recommend is the locking the forearm in the wrist because you need to do that no matter what. But you have to get good at it, and you will get fatigued at first, just like anything, right? Like if you've never ridden a jet ski, right? Your thighs, like just riding for like 30 minutes, man, you feel like, it's like riding a horse if you've never rode a horse. Like you have to get used to it a little bit, but with practice and time on the stone, you will get better and better. And then eventually that muscle memory will just kick in and you won't even have to think about it because you'll just have it. Like riding a bike, right? When you were a kid and you first jumped on a bike, you couldn't ride it, right? You just couldn't do it because your legs didn't have the muscle. Same thing with this. You just got to be on the stone for a little bit. And, if you're doing the proper, things to holding the angle and keeping attention on that, like you don't want to allow yourself to do shit that's going to mess you up. You want to try to do what works so that that's what your body gets used to. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. The dish soap and water is for, resin bonded stones, diamond bonded. So any sort of bonded stone, you want dish soap, liquid dish soap and water. It will work for like aluminum oxide stones or like wet stones, but typically those are just for water. So you can just use water, but oil stones, it will work on, but not if you've ever used oil. If you've used oil on them, continue to use oil. The only way you can do that is if you've never used oil on them. I got to fix this side of the bevel. I have a lot of faceting because I was kind of talking and messing around. So just give me 1 second. And now sometimes what you might want to do is you might want to just literally go like this. Right? If you're having issues, drop back down because this will cut faster. I'll spend 5 times longer on that just trying to do what I'm trying to do right now. So I'll come back to here and I'll use this. And then I'll just hurry up, cut it back in the way I want it, nice and flat. And then I'll move back over to that stone. I know my table's all over the place. I'm going to get a new one. I'm looking at some right now. I might change this recording spot to the workbench back there, as that one's a lot more stable. I just got a lot of shit on it right now, so. Yeah, stroppy stuff. That is, in my opinion, the best stuff. Stroppy stuff, stropping emulsion. You can get, I got plastic strops and aluminum strops, but this type of leather is specific for this type of emulsion. Which you can use any leather. I'm not going to bullshit you, but the smooth side works best with emulsions, with liquid emulsions. And I did a video on it. If you want to watch my video. I have a full video on stropping, on my stropping stuff. Yeah, the best stuff is the 0.5 micron, the pink stuff, the stuff you see right here, the pink. That's the number one. Good for everything. Yeah, I'm knocking that burr back. So we're about to do the burr removal here in 1 second. I gotta finish this side real quick, then go back to the other side, since I did switch back to the lower grit stones. Now I'm gonna go back over here. Now I'm just gonna finish this side really quick, and then we're gonna knock that burr off. Hopefully it comes off nice and smooth. This is S45 VN steel by Kaiser. Now I don't know how good they do their S45. I guess we'll find out here in a second. I don't want to judge it on this one sharpening, especially since this is its first edge. I'd typically judge it after the third sharpening, and also after sharpening multiple knives with their S45 VN. That felt really good. Looks good. All right, we got a burr. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm to my final burr, right? Just finished this side, so my burr is right here. It's not very big. I can tell it's probably fell off a little bit, but we do have a burr. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and if you need to, make your burr a little bit bigger in the beginning. You know, as time goes on, you'll get better at identifying it and making it smaller. But what I'm going to do is I sharpen probably about that angle. I'm going to remove my burr ever so slightly higher, right? And the only reason why is because I'm going to use 2 fingers. I'm not going to use any pressure. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the tip, and I'm just going to let the burr snag the stone. No pressure. Literally no pressure. I'm using less pressure than the weight of the knife. I'm literally just letting it. You see how I can like literally just do it nonchalantly because there's no pressure. So I'm not worrying about damaging my edge. Now my burr flipped over to this side. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And I'm going to go back and forth. Now, some edges, yes, you might have to add a little bit of pressure. Some more than others. It just depends on how good the burr is and how soft the steel is and how bad it's holding on to it. Good steels, the burr typically pops off real easily. Bad steels, they typically hang on. Now that I've done my reverse passes, which are basically like stropping on the stone, now I'm going to do some forward passes. Now I want to try to get this to be at the angle that I sharpened at as much as possible, but again, no pressure. So if you aren't perfect, that's okay. Just be as close as you can be. Try to be lower than higher. Like if I sharpen at this angle, I'm going to try not to hold this angle when I'm going forward. I might go just a little bit lower and then see how that feels. You want it to be smooth to your nail. There we go. So this one's pretty good. I feel a little bit hanging up, but it's a little enough that I can get it off with the strop. But take your fingernail and just run the edge up it like that. It should feel wet. It should feel like wet glass. If you feel any bumps, any nicks, anything, then keep going. But if it's very, very little, then just go right to the strop. And you know what? You might be able to just go right to the strop anyway. So try it. Try going to the strop and then check again, because you can always go back to the stone. I'm going to do as little passes as possible. This is diamond emulsion. It's very, very effective. So I do not need to do a ton of passes. I want to do as little as possible. Now, you might have to do way more than I just did, depending on the steel. Perfect. So mine is burr free now, and we'll check it to tell. This is a 650 grit edge. Has a nice toothy finish on it. We shouldn't really have a problem It's about 17 degrees per side. Shouldn't have a problem cutting paper towel, at least too much. There we go. Bam. So, but that is how you remove the burr, and that's basically the gist of the burr. The burr is a metal wire that you're accumulating on your apex and then removing or fatiguing until it naturally pops off or you diminish it. Fucking spider. Look at, I love this knife, man. The Kaiser Hawk detent post is banging. Now let me wipe off that black marker. Good enough. Okay. Now let's finish this chef knife really quick. Get back the 80 grit. And this is just like working with a diamond plate. The difference is diamond plates will eventually wear out. This will last virtually forever. Yeah, think about the burr like a paper clip. If you were going to snap a paper clip in half, how would you do it? You'd bend it all the way over, and then you'd bend it all the way back, and then you'd bend it all the way over and all the way back. And you do that about 10, 15 times, and eventually it's snapping, right? Same thing with the burr. Same concept. That's why I say to keep flipping it throughout your sharpening. That's one thing that people do wrong when sharpening is they will just go right into sharpening the other side. And what can happen is that can work out for them just fine. But in some cases, especially if they're beginners, they're going to have microchipping, right? Or their burr is going to be much more difficult to remove because there's fatigue material on there. You want to fatigue it, like I said, like a paper clip, right? So you're not just tearing the paper clip in half, you're letting it fatigue and then snap. What's the smarter choice on long term with what? King's dad. You want that burr to come off naturally, not shirt off. Yes, exactly. Yeah, Todd knows what's up. Crazy, it doesn't feel like wet glass. It should. It should feel just like wet glass. Like this, hear that? That's not wet glass, right? Now listen to this. So here's a knife. Can't hear anything because it's smooth, super smooth. You'll feel the edge maybe ever so like, just like this, right? If you took the spine of this, right, and you ran your finger up it, it feels smooth, right? Now, this one has a little bit of bumps because, you know, the spines probably hit stuff, but typically if you grab the spine of a knife and you go like this, it's smooth. That's the way your apex should feel. Smooth because there's no bumps. It means it's true. It's a perfect apex and there's no bumps. You don't have a bunch of like holes in it, right? And the micro serrations are small enough that they'll peel right through your nail without you feeling anything. You can feel more with your nail going like this than you can see with a microscope, which is crazy. But that's a true thing. Like I've even looked under a microscope, seen nothing, but I can feel the spot. Which stone should I get, 80 or 160? You have the 325, get the 160, get the 160, and then, you know, later on, if you need something to cut a little bit faster, you can get the 80, or if you want something to really hog off some material, get the HAPSTONE Start CBN 80. That's a diamond plate. It's like twice as aggressive as any bonded stone, if not more. Okay, so you guys seen earlier, maybe not. We wrecked the shit out of this edge. Can't do anything now, right? So we wrecked the edge. The edge is garbage. Get it again. Now we're going to loosen up a little bit. This is a really cool knife, by the way. Olaton's VG10 steel. And then it's got a really nice thick handle. So it feels really good in the hand. I'm focusing at the heel. Okay, again, I could use this line, just like I said before, right there. Bam, see that? That's my angle. That's the angle I'm going to use. So right there, I'm focusing right here, right? Now this knife, I will have to lift up a little bit, right? So right now my heel's touching right here, but the tip is not. So how do I get to the tip? When I'm going across the stone, I just lift my elbow, okay? So as I'm coming across the stone, I got to get to the tip, I lift my elbow. Same thing if I'm going this way. Same concept, okay? So lock in. So what you're gonna do here, you can do it basically the same way, but what I want you to do is lock your arms in a little bit, right? Find your angle, get your angle, grab this hand and just touch the spine, okay? And then lock all this in. And as you come across, do a slight turn, right? So you're just turning in, turning back. You're basically going, you're pushing kind of forward and turning, pulling back, forward, turn, pulling back. So we're gonna do that. And just keep that motion going. And if your arms stay locked like this, it'll be the same motion. It's kind of like you're just like leaning in and out, in and out. So that's going to be the same. Like it's not, you're not really going to be changing much because you're just leaning in, leaning out. And that's another way you can do it too. You can just literally just lean in. And then as you get to the tip, very gently lift up. So with your elbow. So you go just like this, in and out, in and out, in and out. When we do this side, that's how we're going to do it. Back, forward, back, forward, back, and you're kind of locking your arms in one place. Now you can do the rotation, or you can go straight forward and back. Doesn't matter which one, whichever one's more comfortable for you, whichever one you can lock in and do. Just lock in. And this will go really quick, especially with the chef knife, if there's not a lot of damages. If you've never sharpened your kitchen knife before, it will take a lot longer than you think, because you have a lot of damages. Every kitchen knife in every drawer, if it's never been sharpened, has a lot of damage, even if you can't tell. A buddy gave me a Puma SGB fixed blade today. It's a really cool knife. First fixed blade. You know what, man? There was a Puma back in the day that used to be in like gun magazines and knife magazines. I used to love it, man. I never had one, but I always loved the way it looked. What setup do you recommend to start sharpening business? You need a lot of different things. You got to get a belt grinder. Kind of like what's right there. You got to get a belt grinder. You got to get there's a bunch of different systems you can get, but the TSPROF K4, that's probably what I'd recommend to you because they got all the attachments and everything. Also, UKSG has a really good system. The one right behind me right here. There's a bunch of good systems, but you got to get a proper, really expensive sharpening system, like a lifetime sharpening system, not one that, oh, this is a $400 sharp. No, you're going to spend like $800 to $1,000 on just the sharpening system alone. Then you should get bonded stones. We're going to bust out a fixed angle system here in a second if we have time. Then you want to get a set like this. These are going to be like $500 just for these stones. Then you're going to want to get some strops. You're going to need a ceramic rod. You're going to need some of this, just stropping compound, diamond emulsions. And then if you have that stuff, you're pretty much good to go. I would say belt sharpener, fixed angled system, good sharpening stones, good belts for the obviously the belt sharpener, and a good set of strops. With the sharpening system, if you get a good one, it'll come with the digital angle finder and all that. But you have to get bonded stones. You typically don't want to use just regular diamond plates because with a sharpening business, you'll wear them out really quick and you'll spend way more money getting new diamond plates than if you just buy once, cry once. Kind of like the sharpening system. You can you can cheapen out and buy a $300 sharpening system, but you're going to be buying another $300 sharpening system in like a year or two. So it's like, why not just buy once? That sharpening system will last your entire career. A good one, because you can always replace parts. Take the stone rocker out. There you go. I would do that in here, but I have it pretty close by, but I'm not ready for the setup with it, but we could definitely do that here really soon. I think that would actually be a really good idea. I think that'd make a really good live too. So we're going to do that for sure. Let's say the next live sharpening we do, we'll bring out the stone rocker. That'll be dope. So rocking in and out, in and out, in and out. And let's check it. Bevel's looking good. I have a burr from heel to tip. So again, what do? After we're done with one side, we can feel the burr. Remember, we sharpen this side, so the burr is on this side. Heel to tip, basically a stropping pass, get the burr out of the way. Knock the burr out of the way. And then work on this side. Get a good pinch up on the blade. When you're going this way, you want the back of the handle and you want your thumb on the ass end. When you flip it, you want to pinch up on the blade. You want as much leverage on the blade because you want to be able to utilize this thumb. You're not pushing pressure, but you're making it stable, right? And you do have to add, like I said, like between 3 and 6 pounds of pressure. 4 to 6 pounds is typical. You might be around 2 to 4. I might be around 4 to 6. Some people might be around 6 to 10. It doesn't matter as long as you can hold that angle. So lock your arms in place if you can, like I'm doing right here, and just move in and out, in and out. And then just lift your elbow when you get to the tip. Lift it ever so slightly and then push back. And since you're moving your body with it, it'll feel very natural after a few times. Once you lean back and forth a few times, it'll feel very natural to you. We already have a burr on this side, but I want to go a little bit more because my bevel might be a little bit higher. Now, if you've never sharpened the knife before, you might not want to finish one side. You might want to go halfway, go to this side, do halfway, come back to this side, finish it off, then go back to this side and finish it. Just so you don't make an uneven bevel, because one side will take a very long time and the other side will go really quick. So I have a burr from here to tip, but right here there's no burr. So I'm going to go right here and watch what I do. I'm not putting pressure. I need to make sure it's clear because I fucked up. I watched people do this when I was first learning and I ruined a couple knives this way. I put pressure. These fingers are not putting pressure. All they're doing is literally the weight of my fingers is pressure, and you don't realize that. Just the weight of my fingertips is plenty of pressure. So I'm going to set it down. I thought the person was pushing, and I did that, and it wound up making my bevel go, wah! Like literally my bevel went from like this big to like this big. So don't do no pressure. Just let the tips of your fingers touch and just kind of scrub it. No pressure, just a little scrubbing. Locking in this arm, making sure I'm locking in. And then when you're doing this, I'm letting the knife kind of float through my hands. These fingers are just an angle indicator. That's all they are. If I start lifting, I can feel it. If I start dropping, I can feel it on these fingers. A little bit more at the heel. This heel. Okay, now that I did that, I have to blend it in. Never work on one area without blending it in. You don't want to do but a few passes before you blend it in. Typically, I recommend not to do more than 4 or 5 passes like that for blending in. Okay, now we're going to go to the next stone, which is a 160, and I'm going to knock the burr back, because remember, we just worked on this side, so the burr is on this side. Flip that burr over, flip it over, flip it over. The burr did actually snag the stone. I didn't even get it all the way flipped over before I went. Hey, thank you, Ramet. Shout out to Ramet, man. Hell yeah, I appreciate it, man. That's awesome. They're always showing love, man. Shout out to Ramet. Awesome, awesome knives. Definitely check out all the shit they're doing. Good stuff from Ramet. I'm actually trying to work with them right now, possibly on doing some business myself. So that'll be really awesome. See how that goes. Now, right now, if you notice, I'm just turning. I'm just rotating my hips. And I'm using my finger because my finger is going across the stone and coming back. So I can tell if I move angle, I'm going to feel the stone differently, right? So I allow my fingers to slide across the stone. So as I'm coming across right now, I can feel if I change angles at all. I know this looks fast. I'm going to go slower. It kind of feels better to go fast, to be honest. So she said, the burr is all over it. So the heel is just the one part that's not hitting as good as I would like, but that's okay. It's hitting on this side a little bit. But let me flip that burr over. I'm going to work on it one more time. Just grind it in a little bit. Okay. Flip the burr. Flip the burr. Flip a little more. Trying to let that heal. Spend a little bit more time on that stone as I go across it. There we go. That's fine. Big burr. Now we are to the 285. Let me check the questions. Tap the like. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Yes, please hit the like button. I do appreciate it. And if you guys are not subscribed, please subscribe. I do greatly appreciate that as well. I do have an entire sharpening playlist. If this information is not good enough for you, if you watch my actual recorded videos where I can do B-roll and I can throw in like good close details, microscopic views and this and that and all that good shit, watch those videos. They'll be way more in-depth for you to learn on a microscopic level or a more beginner's level. I also have advanced stuff. I have beginner tutorials. I have step-by-step stuff, fixed angled, freehand, every type of sharpening you can imagine. So subscribe to the channel and check out my sharpening playlist. It'll greatly benefit you. Pretty soon here, I'm going to be doing a sharpening with one of the members. Not sure if we're going to do it in front of the audience or not. I think he's Irish, so we'll see how that goes. But we're going to see how it goes. We might do it with the audience. We might not. But if you're a Rockstead member, that is something I do offer. One-on-one sharpenings. Yeah, burr's big. So look at this. I want to show you guys something. Watch this. So the burr's right here. Watch how I want to try to slide this. You hear that? Watch the stone too. You know what? Let me do this. Watch the stone. You'll see the burr literally cutting into the stone. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but let me see if there's something else. I could do it on a piece of leather. Here's an old piece of leather. Watch. It's literally cutting. You can see those scratches. All those are scratches from the burr. So the burr's snagging it because, like I said, it's like a metal wire. So flip that over, flip that over. Right now I can literally end it, but I don't want to end it yet. I want to get to that 650, and I can't remember if how long I've used this stone yet or not. We're almost done with this one though, and then we will do some talking. But you want to just stay on the stone. You don't want to do 1 or 2 passes. Every time you get back on the stone, do 10 to 20 passes at least. Because no matter what, even myself, when I lift off, like right now, I'm talking and stuff, and I'm looking at my edge, when I set it back down, my angle might be off by 1/2 degree. But as long as I do 10 to 20 passes, I'll replace the bevel with my new one because it's such a small difference that 10 to 20 passes will replace that. Unless if, I really changed angle a lot, then I wouldn't be able to. But got a TSPROF Cadet with HAPSTONE CBN stones. Really struggling to get to that next level of sharp. It's sharp and cuts paper towel, but not like you can. I finish on a 5K and strop with. So what HAPSTONE stones do you have? That's the question. Do you have the HAPSTONE CBN, the metal bonded CBN stones? Is that what you have? Because if that's the case, if you have HAPSTONE starts, they don't go up to 5,000. So you must have the HAPSTONE diamond stones, or sorry, metal bonded diamond or metal bonded CBN, same thing. So I'm guessing you have the metal bonded CBN. If that's the case, the problem is those metal bonded stones don't do well in the finer grits. they're only good for the low and medium grits. Now, you should still be able to cut paper towel just fine. You should be doing pretty good, but typically they don't leave that fucking crispy sharpness once you get over 1100 grit. I would recommend, I would recommend get a resin bond, get a 3000. So keep your stones. Your stones are great. You have one of the highest quality stone sets, period. But get a 3000 and a 5000. And just to prove to you that I'm not just trying to sell you my shit, go to HAPSTONE. HAPSTONE will have resin bonded stones. You can go to TSPROF. TSPROF has a 3000, 6000, and a 9000 or something like that. I got them back here. I can't remember, but just grab the 3000, 9000, 3, 6, whatever. 3000 and whatever they have up. You don't have to go over 9,000, but you know, that's the most they go up to. We just recently got 10,000 grits. But my point is they should match. It should be a 3mm bond yours has, and those should be a 3mm bond too. But if not, I do have the hybrid stones. My hybrids are 3mm bonds, or you can go to, like I said, HAPSTONE. You go to UKSG. All the links are down in the description, by the way. Everything I'm saying right now is linked down in the description. But my point is that if you get the bond, the resin or hybrids, that's what you want. Resin bond or hybrid bond. If you're going over 1100 grit. Even over 1000 grit, but 1100 grit, you should be fine with the metal bonded diamonds or metal bonded CBNs. But with the other ones, grab those. Then, what steels are you sharpening and what angle are you sharpening at? Lower your angle slightly. Try to do a little bit of a lower edge angle. That's one thing. And then focus really heavily on your burr removal. Also, the steel is very important. You know, like I can sharpen a knife right now that doesn't have a great steel, and it's not going to get like brutally sharp. But if I grab something else, if I grab a Spyderco or a custom or something in certain steels with certain heat treatments that are done really well, that's when you get that fuck you sharp. I actually got a shirt that says fuck you sharp on it. We'll see if we wind up putting those on the site. I think we're gonna. Okay, so technically, I could remove the burr right now. I'm going to work on this side one more time. This is a 650 grit. Just want to make sure my bevel's nice and flat. This one went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but I did tear the shit out of it with that plate. Okay. A little bit longer. I think my burr might have snapped off, and now I'm just trying to slightly create a little bit of a bigger one since it just snapped off on its own. That'll happen sometimes where your burr will just naturally snap off. There's nothing you can do about it. You can recreate one or just, you know, pretend like you have one, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm doing my stropping passes, no pressure. Like I said, not even the weight of the knife. I'm literally just gently allowing the burr to stroke the stone so that it fatigues back and forth, and then I will do forward passes. And if you see how gentle I'm being, so gentle that I can just slide right off the stone. And I do that so it shows I'm not putting pressure, and it proves it to myself too. I can feel a little bit on there, but I don't think it's too much. I think the strop will take care of it. I can feel it's on this side. Yep, that side feels nice and smooth. There we go. Now it's gone. I just felt it pop. As you can feel the burr grind into the leather, or you feel it not. Oh yeah. Okay, right here, I said I had a little problems at the heel. I'm not going to worry about the heel of it right now because it's just not worth it right now, but very, very, very sharp. And paper, I know some of you guys know the paper. 650 grit edge. Get my paper wet, why don't I? sharp enough. Now, if I wanted to bring it up to a finer grit, I could. This steel, I don't really like to do that with VG10. That's another thing. Also, this is another thing. I'm going to say this to the person that was having trouble. I have a video. Todd, if you can grab it, I really would appreciate it. It's called What Grit for What Edge. So I have a video telling you what type of finish you should put on what steel. Certain steels don't do good with fine, ultra fine, not low. I don't mean low angle edges. When I say fine, I mean fine grits. Like you want to stay around 600 grit, 1100, 1200 grit. You don't want to go over certain grits. Now, other steels do really, really well with a super fine 5,000, 10,000 grit edge. Some don't. So you got to choose your battles. You want to make sure that you're putting the right edge on the appropriate steel. For an example, just for an example really quick, 154 cm, CPM 150, I just took out my mic. I'm sorry, guys. Hang on. So 154 cm, even more so CPM 154. That steel's grain structure is so fine. Once you go over 1,000 grit, it gets duller. And it's not technically getting duller. It's just that the micro serrations are so tight together that there's no bite there. So it's like a saw blade having no teeth. Imagine that, right? How good can a saw blade cut with no teeth? Not very well. So it actually feels duller when you go up to too fine of a grip, especially with CPM 154. So you might think, like, in cutting paper towel, it ain't going to cut paper towel very good because it'll slide right off of it. Even though everything was perfect. The only bad thing was you went too fine. Now, keep that same steel at 400 to 600 grit, 400 to 800 grit, it's super sharp. My favorite steel, so I have like a top 5, but my all-time favorite's K390. But K390, Crewwear, 4V, Rex 45, MagnaCut. Those are probably my favorite steels right there. Rex 45, Crewwear, 4V, K390. I like the steels that take any edge. I like a steel like 14C28N for a budget steel. Love that. Nitro V for a budget steel. I like a steel that likes sharp. Like it wants to be fucking sharp. Those are the steels I like. Like Crewwear. It's got crazy good toughness, good edge retention, and both of those things just equal a super sharp edge. Like that's why one of my knives I recently did is done in Crewwear. This one is MagnaCut. Super sharp. I can't wait to finish these, man. These are going to be so dope. These damn... I'm going to make this adjustable, by the way. If you haven't seen that video, I am going to make this, the titanium belt clip, adjustable. So if people do want to make it a little bit deeper in the pocket, they'll be able to. I think that'll be a nice little touch. Rex 121. So it's not that I don't like it. There's no steel I really don't like except for H1. I don't like H1. I like some steels better than others. The Rex 121 is a steel that likes a toothy edge. It doesn't do good with a fine edge. You typically want to make sure you're doing 400 grit to 600 grit on Rex. It's a great steel for, now don't get me wrong, it'll take a stupid sharp polished edge. It just won't hold the bite. So it'll wind up getting slick as soon as you start using it. But Rex 121 is exclusively amazing for cutting basically abrasives. Like if you're cutting cardboard, rope, things like that all day, and you're just exclusively cutting, you're not doing any prying, chopping, anything hard, you're just doing cutting, then that's a great steel because it's going to keep a toothy edge for a super long time. That's kind of the beauty with those steels. They don't necessarily take a razor sharp edge for a long time. They keep a hard working edge for a very long time. H1, yeah, it's like fucking plastic. I've never sharpened anything that felt like that. Like it's weird, man. It feels like a plastic metal or something. It's so weird. What's up, Sid? How you doing, brother? I like, yeah. Yeah, PM30, Rex 45, love them. Love them, love them. Crewwear, amazing. Thoughts on the new ProTech Peace Neighbor Avalon? Looks like a Neve approved folder. Yeah, I need to get one in the damn collection. I really want to go check out Dude's knife collection. Have you tried the newer Kintiff diamond plates? I'm really enjoying the 400, and we'll add the 1K and 3K. I don't know what they are doing, but it's not electroplate. Yeah, you're talking about these, right? I'm guessing you're talking about these. It is electroplate if this is what you're talking about, but I don't know if this is what you're talking about or not. Talking about the like this, where it has that edge around it. Is this what you're talking about? Something like this? I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about or not. These are very aggressive, though. These fuckers cut fast. This is one of the HAPSTONE starts. These are like the best. Diamond or CBN. These things are super aggressive. They cut very fast. They last a very long time. I am very impressed by these, though. But I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about. No, they are full-sized bench stones. Oh, I don't know if I've tried them. I don't think I've tried them. I don't know. I just recently got some new diamond plates in, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. Man, I got so many damn sharpening stones. Hey, Neeves, what would you suggest is the best angling grip for the Osborne 940? Okay, so I have two different answers for you. I have an answer that I think is going to be for the majority and then for myself. Okay, so for myself, I do 15 degrees per side on that one, but that's because I like a damn laser beam. I want it to be as sharp as possible. That knife does not have great edge geometry, so because it doesn't have great, it doesn't have good blade geometry. That's what I'm gonna say. It doesn't have good blade geometry, so it's not the best cutter. It's more of like a workman's knife, which no problem with that. That's good. So 17 degrees per side is going to be the most common edge for that. 17 degrees per side, most people are going to want on that. The bevel won't be too big, but it'll be very slicey. It'll be very sharp. I have a 15 degree on mine. My bevel's very big, though, on mine, but I love it. I love it. It's a big bevel, though. My edge is like that big on there. Maybe like that big. I personally like it, but to each their own. Do 17 degrees per side and see how you like it. And then depending on what steel you have, I don't know, or yeah, because mine is S90V. So it depends on what steel you have for what grit. I use S30V. Do you recommend me go with a polished finish? I was thinking of getting another knife. What do you recommend? I like sleep. Okay, so if you like slim and sleek, I got the perfect recommendation, but I'm going to say this really quick. S30V, great steel. Phenomenal steel. I love S30V. Technically, S30V will take a good polished edge. It's not like it holds it the best or anything like that, but it holds it well, right? S35, not so much, but S30V does. S30V actually has a little bit better edge retention than S35VN. S35, I think, has a little bit more toughness. But anyways, I would say you can go anywhere from 600 to 3,000 grit on S30V without a problem. Most people are probably going to want a 600 to 1,200 grit edge on there, but I've liked my polished edges on my S30V. You should, so tomorrow there's some new stuff dropping from Voss Steed, but this is the Tie Slim from Voss Steed. This is the crossbar one, but they just dropped. I have them. I got a video coming tomorrow. I don't want to reveal too much, but they are amazing, and they have this button. It's like the top liner lock. So this is really awesome. I would recommend this. This is the Drop Bear Zero. Drop Bear Zero, Elmex steel, aluminum handle, badass locking system. It's the same locking system as Spyderco, just with a button. Then these guys, Voss Steed has the Tie Slim Porcupine, which I think might have already sold out, but there's some on my Blade HQ link. If you go down to Blade HQ, the link down in the description, Blade HQ, click that link, and then just go to their new arrivals. It'll be at the top of the page. Scroll down. It'll be at the bottom of the page. You'll see the Porcupine. It's as slim as this. I got one right over here. I don't want to pull it out. I have a video coming on tomorrow, but they're super slim. If you want slim, go with that. That's why the Thai Slim porcupine, Thai Slim raccoon, and then also, like I said, the Drop Bear Zeros. The Drop Bear Zeros are not as slim as that, but they're fucking amazing. Really, really good. I can't recommend them enough. It's one of my favorite knives right now. All the ones I just mentioned. All the ones I just mentioned. The new Devo is dope too. The new Devo with Vosteed. Fire. Can I sharpen my bench-made crewware? Yeah, you can sharpen it. Just get diamonds. I would recommend diamonds. If you've never sharpened before, you should probably get a fixed angle system. I wouldn't recommend you just automatically starting with, not the crewware is hard. Crewware is an easy steel to sharpen, but I wouldn't want you you're not going to ruin your knife. You'll never ruin your knife. You can always fix it, but I'd hate for you to do it and then get frustrated and pissed off. So I'd say set yourself up for success. If you're going to do freehand sharpening, get this exact setup. Go to my Sharpall link down in the description. Sharpall, it'll be under sharpening stuff, and then get one of these. This will come with a double-sided diamond plate. Get the 200 600 or the 325 1000, either one or both. It'll come with an angle guide like this. This is the base. So now you saved a lot of money. Or go and get my base from my site if you want to make me some money, which I do recommend more, but this is perfectly adequate. And then now you can take this and you have an angle guide. You see, I don't use these very often. It's got the sticker still on there, but you got an angle guide right here. And now you just set it down, slide it down until the edge hits. This is how I recommend doing it. Put your blade on here, right? Slide it down until the edge hits. As soon as the edge hits, lock, and then go across. And as you're focusing 1 inch at a time, as it comes off of the stone, you're gonna get to the belly, lift your elbow, and then you'll feel the tip touch. Don't go up too high because that'll roll your tip. And then just keep repeating that. And then keep letting it slide down. Let it flat, slide down, bam. That'll make sure your bevel's nice and flat. You're basically like letting it slide and then acting like you're cutting like a piece of cheese. Like acting like you're cutting a thin layer off the top of the stone. That's basically what you're doing. And then, bam, I already got a bevel. See, look at that. Now that's a high angle for this. This is very thin behind the edge. So that's how fast. And then with like this side, I can go at an angle like this. And same thing. Slide, drop, hold the angle. Slide, drop, hold the angle. Slide, drop, hold that angle and lift. Hold that angle and lift. If you watch my beginner's tutorial, I didn't have these yet. So I do have other stones I recommend in that video, but essentially everything is the same. I would just recommend getting these now because they're affordable and they come with a lot for what you're spending. And if you really want to try something for really cheap, this is 11-in-1. This has everything you need to sharpen, hone, strop, everything. It has ceramic diamonds, literally 11-in-1, like 11-in-1 tools. Like, look at all these. This thing is dope. Go watch my video on this. Sharpall 11-in-1 look. It has the angle guides, double-sided, built in. It's dope. So now, like here, I can just grab this, drop down, hold that angle, and then just lift my elbow. And because this is a rod, one thing you guys got to know about rods. Rods cut way faster than a flat stone. And the reason why is, I always say this is a good analogy too. If I took this knife, or no, let's say I take this thing, right? This thing right there. And I try to stab it through the table. It's not going to do too much, right? Not going to do nothing. If I did the same thing with this knife, with that tip, it's going to go right through the table, right? Why? Because it's a pinpoint spot, right? That's what rods do. Pinpoint spot. When you touch the rod, it's a pinpoint spot hitting your edge. So when you're ever using a rod like this, It's a pinpoint spot hitting, so it requires much less pressure. If you're using the same pressure as you're using on that, it's going to cut way faster. And that's why I tell people like that a micro bevel is very easy to put on a knife. It only takes a couple passes. If you're on a big bench stone like this, of course it's going to take more passes because you're distributing the weight an inch wide across your knife, right? So of course it's not going to go as fast. But once you get to a pinpoint area like that, it cuts right through the shit fast. So just know that a rod can go really fast. Now, I don't recommend rods for full sharpenings. Granted, they can work. They can work good too, especially for an improvised tool. But they're better for edge maintenance, micro beveling, and stuff like that. Now that I did this, I got to just finish it really quick. It'll take me 2 seconds. I'm not going to go any further than this. One grit, one and done. This does have 2 grits though, because this side is a finer grit. I don't care. We're just gonna go right there. Now let's see if we can't remove that burr. Okay. See how easy that was? Now I'm using the strop. The toothier edge, that's like a 325, I think. That's a toothy edge. Whew, there you go. We got a little bit of burr just left right here on this, right there. Bam, got it. There we go. Oh yeah, let me use this strap. A little bit bigger. Let's see if that worked. Think that worked, guys? Think that worked? I think so. Bang, 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 gang. And just so you guys can see, 325 grit. Little toothy, but I mean, she cut. She cut. Because I did a proper burr removal. That's it. I do a proper burr removal. Great for doing recurves. Yes, this is great for everything, especially for recurves. But you can use this for edge maintenance. You can use it for full-blown sharpening, recurves, serrations. There's even a tool in here, actually, for serrations. You can take this off, too, and you can put the tool right there. There's a little place for you to hide your weed right there. And a spot for you to do your arrowheads. It's awesome. 11 in 1. These things always stick to my damn table. Ooh, what's up? What's going on? Burnings? When I first started sharpening, the knife belly always was my issue, and I can tell you why. So I've done videos on this, EDC Journeys. Shout out to you, brother. The reason why is this. I'm just going to grab another knife so I can show exactly why. I need something with a belly. I'd say that's a belly. So I'm going to go to a finer grit because I don't want to tear up my edge too much. I don't feel like sharpening this thick bastard right now. This is why everybody messes up their belly. When you're going across the stone, you want to lock in, right? Like I was saying before, you lock in as you're going across. What do? You lift your elbow up to the tip. This is what people do wrong. They go across, and once they get to here, in order to get the belly, they dip their wrist. And yes, it works. And that's why people keep doing it, because it does work. So they go across the stone and they go like this. It works. It'll work every time. But what's happening is the bevel from here to here will be big. So from here to here will be normal. And then from here to here will be just all of a sudden, wah, it'll be big because you're lowering your angle. The lower the angle, the bigger the bevel. Higher the angle, smaller the bevel. Thinner the edge, smaller the bevel. Thicker the edge, bigger the bevel. So if I do a 17-degree bevel on this, it's going to be a very tiny edge. If I do a 17-degree bevel on this, it's going to be a big edge because this is thick. If I do a low angle edge on this, it's going to be very big. So if I'm going across the stone right here and I allow my wrist to dip like that to get to the tip, it'll sharpen it, and it will get sharp, and it will get all the way to the tip. But it's going to lower the angle on the way just through the belly. It took me a little while to learn that. I literally went through trial and error. Like, why the fuck Do I keep making my belly? Because all of a sudden, like, it was like I had sharpened so perfectly. And then all of a sudden I get a big belly knife and my belly would just go, my bevel would go like this and then just whop right through the belly. It looks so crazy. And I'd be pissed, like, man, that looks so weird. And then finally I figured it out what I was doing wrong. Yep, exactly. So making a higher grit stone will not make, no, not necessarily. It depends on the steel. So some steels do hold an edge longer with a finer grit. Most don't. So there's a bunch of steels that do. There's a bunch of steels. Like if I did an edge retention test right now, depending on what I'm cutting to, because some edges cut better with toothy finishes, some things cut better with finer finishes. But certain steels do good with a finer grit because they keep the bite. A lot of steels lose the bite, meaning their teeth are too small and they just break away. They don't keep them. Some steels keep those teeth really good. So as you're cutting, it stays nice and toothy, but some don't. So it just depends. The edge angle is going to be the biggest indicator in your ability to hold an edge. The lower the angle, the sharper, but also the weaker. So you got to find that balance, right? Depending on what you're doing. If you wanted a screaming sharp edge and you're only cutting normal stuff, ropes, leather, plastic, cardboard, packages, food, 15 degrees per side is going to be a screaming sharp edge and it'll hold it for a long time and it'll be very easy for you to strop and very easy for you to hone. Like I can hone back a 15-degree bevel forever, like for a long time. Like this is a 10,000 degree. Like I can sit here. This is a beautiful big bevel, 14 degrees per side, I think. So I can sit here and hone this back over and over and over because it's such a big bevel. So behind the apex is thinner, meaning this stone will remove a little tiny bit of material and make it sharp. But it's all it needs because it's so thin behind the apex and there's not much material behind the apex. Now, if I did that with a 20-degree bevel, it would be a little bit more difficult. Now, also, it wouldn't hold its edge for as long, but it'd be tougher. However, if you have a knife that you're tougher on, say if you hit staples and you just happen to be a little bit tougher on your edge, then you wouldn't want a 15-degree bevel because you're going to be microchipping it to shit. So you're going to want like a 20-degree bevel. It's all about everything is about what you're doing. It's kind of like this. Like if I asked you, what's the best car, right? You'd be like, for what, right? Like say if I said, what's the best car? And you were like, Ferrari. And I'm like, good, we're going boondocking, right? You'd be like, well, that's not the best car for that, right? Or if I said, oh, well, we're going to be hauling fucking 10,000 pounds, right? You'd be like, nah, it's not the best car for that. Or if I told you we're going fucking in the sand dunes, right? You're like, well, maybe we should get something for sand. You got to pick the right thing for the thing. Kind of like this even. What's the best knife for what, right? If I told you, oh, a kitchen knife is the best knife. And then I said, okay, good, let's go chop logs. This is just going to break, right? It's too thin, right? This is for food. It's for cutting purposes, for, softer things. Everything has a purpose, right? So edges have a purpose depending on the edge, depending on the steel, what you're cutting. So you just got to figure out, most people cut the same stuff with their knives. So there is a universal 17 degrees per side is the universal edge for most people. 600 grit goes good on everything. 600 to 1000 grit will pretty much be good on pretty much everything. CPM 154 steel, I would say stick around 400 to 600 though. This is a resin bonded diamond stone. The best stones in the world by NEEVEKNIFECO. Badass. Very expensive, but these things will last you forever. You'll be passing these down to your children and grandchildren more than likely. And they're diamond. So unlike diamond plates that do wear out, these won't wear out, at least for so long of a time that by the time they wear out, you'll be either a very old man that got your money out of it, or two, you'll be dead and it'll be your kids saying, I can't believe these stones last this damn long. One day, Grandpa used to sharpen his old buck 110 on that son of a bitch. Woo! That is fucking sharp. Man, that is sharp, boy. Holy cow, that is sharp. This thing is just so, it's so brutally sharp, man. Look at that. Like, you guys don't understand. I'm using like no muscle in my hand right now. Like if I want to, I can obviously just go straight down. Like it's just like nothing, man. It's like, let's see if I can just hold it, free holding it. That motherfucker's sharp, boy. Oh, that will ruin your day if you fuck up. That will ruin your day. You accidentally mess up with that thing. Oh my God, you better have some zippets nearby quickly. The GM14, I love this knife. I also put a nice bevel on this guy. Not as low as the other one, but pretty damn low. I think it's about the same, about 15 degrees per side. This knife is awesome. I love it. It's expensive. Giant mouse made by Riat. But damn it, they did such a good job with it. This has probably some of the best thumb stud action I've felt in a long time. It has just, it's so crispy. If you had a chance, try this one, man. GM14. Possibly my favorite giant mouse right now. Let's just listen. That pop, man, is so good. A couple more days, guys. The Max Ace Zero Blade Play. I got it over there. The Zero, I think it's over there. Yeah, the Zero Blade Play Max Ace Uranus, or no, Neptune, the big one, the full size coming soon. What kind of paper towel is it? The Quilted Quicker Picker Upper Bounty, probably. Yeah, probably Downy or Bounty. When it comes to edges, steel types, grit size, I appreciate that, man. He says, I'm so glad I found your videos. I've become more of a perfectionist when it comes to edges, steel types, grit size, cutting, medium, all are taken into consideration in the art of sharpening. Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing because knives are the oldest tool. They are the most important tool to our survival, right? And then not only that, think about this. And I always say this on the channel because I think it's important to remember. Knives are in our blood, right? All of our ancestors fought, died, killed on the battlefield, required it to hunt, required it to survive. And depending on where you were in society, you knew a man's worth by his knife. Because just like now, in any point in history, it doesn't matter when you go back in history, at that point, they were making knives out of the best possible materials on the planet. In the Bronze Age, it was the bronze. They went to the Steel Age, but in the Bronze Age, there were people still walking around with stone knives or whatever the fuck they were using that would be considered like peasants. They obviously weren't going to survive as good as somebody with a bronze sword, right? They would lose the fight more than likely, right? So it showed your ability to survive having this thing. And then it was a prized possession. Having a knife made out of the best possible materials on the planet were passed down to you, right? Your father, right, on his deathbed, or maybe you got old. If you got old, because you really didn't get old, you passed it down to your kids, right? Your kids would keep it as a prized possession. And somebody walking around, right, you've seen what was on their hip. You would know by looking at it where they sat in society, right? So this stuff's in our DNA. It's just in our DNA, and it hasn't stopped. There's no difference. When the iPhones, the rockets going to the fucking moon, we still can't survive without a knife. If you survive every day without using a knife, it's because there's another man doing the cutting for you. There's another man doing the hunting for you. There's another man cutting the food for you. There's another man doing the processing for you, whatever. Even with packages now, not all of them, most of them you still have to cut, but some of them, they got the peel thing, just making it so convenient. It still doesn't stop the fact that you need a knife to survive. You need them in your kitchen. All restaurants need them. Anybody who carries a knife, after 2 weeks of carrying a knife, how convenient it is. I don't understand how anybody can walk around without a knife. I feel fucking naked. Like, I use my knife so many times a day, from picking things to opening things to slicing something, cut to whatever. I use it for fucking everything. So many things. It's a multi-tool. It really is. And it's crazy to me when I see somebody sitting there struggling to try to pick something. And I'm thinking, man, I would have had that open 3 minutes ago, you know, or just whatever, right? You know, whatever. Like, even, you know, when you think about self-defense and hunting and things like that, you know, it's such a convenience tool, a survival tool. You know, ask any survivor, right? If you're left without nothing and you have to go survive, what are 3 things you're bringing? I guarantee number 1 is knife, right? Number 1 is knife, probably even before fire, because you can help create shelter and fire and all that when you have a knife. If you don't have a knife, you're pretty shit out of luck with just a fire. I mean, yeah, it's good having a fire, but, you know, yeah, I mean, like, fucking sucks trying to sharpen a rock. I will turn my car around if I forgot my B2. Dude, when I take airplanes, I literally have a knife in my bag that goes under the plane ready. As soon as it comes off the thing, you know, as soon as it comes off, I'm unzipping it and I'm grabbing that knife out, as I'm already freaking out. I gotta have it. And there's times I'll be on the plane and, like, I'll go to grab it and I'm like, oh, fuck. But it's just, you know, please, the ruby honing and stone full video. Yeah, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. I got the ruby stone coming soon. I got a lot of videos coming soon on sharpening. We got lapping films coming, rubies coming soon, top 10 sharpening systems coming soon. We got a lot of stuff coming very soon. Cheaper options. Wait, do you know of any cheaper options to the Cadet Pro? Yeah, the Pioneer. The Pioneers from TSPROF. That's amazing. If you then go with, like, the Zarok. I didn't know my shit just went off. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, go with the TSPROF Pioneer if you want to go TSPROF. If you don't want to go TSPROF, which the Pioneer is really good, but if you don't want to go TSPROF and you want to go way, way more affordable, go with the Zarilk, X-A-R-I-L-K. Watch my video on it. They now do have their own single clamp, so you don't have to get the TSPROF one, but the sharpening system is under $100, and it's basically a knockoff of the Cadet Pro, and even all the parts from the Cadet Pro. Go watch my video. Watch my full review on it so you know everything I'm talking about. But if you use my link down in the links right now, if you go down in the description, I have a link, Neeves Knives Amazon store, sharpening supplies on Amazon store. You can just go to Google and just type in Neeves Knives Amazon store. It'll pop up. And I have the Zarok in there with the single clamp that goes to it. You can get that. That'll, you know, you'll be $130 or something like that. And it'll come with stones, but you're going to eventually want to get way better stones. That's crazy. Just learned you can legally fly inside Canada with a blade if it's, that's crazy, man. I can't even go to Canada though. So fuck Canada. Needs knife store and sharp. Yes, thank you, Todd. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. That is the Amazon link right there. You got it, man. You got it. What's your advice on sharpening a hawkbill? Get skinny stone. If you have a fixed angle system, get skinny stones. Typically, I always want to recommend the bonded stones. If you can find skinny stones in some other, you know, whatever, that's fine. But UKSG has skinny stones. I'm about to get some skinny stones soon. But if you do not have a fixed angle sharpening system, right, then get something like this. I have videos sharpening on rods. Go watch my hawkbill sharpening videos. I have a bunch of them. Watch my recurve sharpening videos or hawkbill sharpening videos. I got shorts on them, so I make them really quick. I have full videos on them too. Get the Sharp Ball 11-in-1. Sharp Ball links down in the description. This will sharpen any hawkbill. It has 4 diamond plates. So it has a coarse and a fine, and then it has 2 ceramic rods and 2 strops. And it even has a thing for serrations. And the angle guides are right here. So you spin that and see how they pop out, where they go back in. And then it gives you the indicator right there. What's your advice? Oh, yeah, I said that. I'm getting the 11-1. Yeah, you should definitely get the 11-in-1, man. no matter what, it doesn't matter if you have everything else, get this. This is a no-brainer. Like this tool, I'm telling you, amazing. I would say if you don't have a field sharpener, I'd say get a field sharpener, but get both if you can. Get a field sharpener and one of these. Both of those are like the most used things I have. Field sharpener, I think I might have one right here. I think it's in my bag though. Nope, I got one right here. So you want one of these. This is an old shitty one, but comes with 2 diamond plates. And they now have other diamond plates you can get for these too. By the way, you can get an upgraded kit that has more diamond plates, but it has a ceramic, 2 diamond plates, a strop, spot for serrations. You can spin the ceramic for like sharpening fishing hooks and stuff. Both of these are, the prices for them are crazy. The amount you're going to use them. I've gotten, just out of this one alone, this is my oldest one, I've gotten thousands of dollars worth of sharpening out of this one. Same thing with this one. This one I haven't had nowhere near as long. These, I have like 5 of these. I keep them everywhere because they're so valuable. When I go out of town, I bring one with me. That means I can always keep everything sharp. Doesn't matter what it is. It's diamonds. I can keep it sharp. I can even sharpen my friends and family stuff. Like I'll be in the corner because, you know, friend or family will have a dull kitchen knife. And I'll be over there fucking sharpening this son of a bitch. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Can't believe I call you my aunt. You have at least 5 of those at work. Sharp, but need 11 1. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good to have both because one that you can do recurves on, but this recurves are way better on, or hawkbills way better. And this is longer, so you know you can do longer stuff, bigger stuff. The angle guides, you can adjust them. That one, you can't adjust them. You can go lower on the ramp, so you kind of can, but you know. Yeah, both are around 40 bucks. Yep. They're very cheap. The ruby rods, you can find them in my, go to that link that Todd put up, my Neeves Knives Amazon store, or sharpening supplies. So there's NEEVEKNIFECO in the Neeves Knife Sharpening store. The Neeves Knife Sharpening store is just my Amazon store. It might even say Amazon store, but NEEVEKNIFECO is my site where I have my knife designs, my sharpening stones and stuff. But the Amazon store is where you're going to find like all stuff like this. You'll find the 11-in-1 in there. You'll find the field sharpener in there. You'll find the ruby stone in there. So go to that. I have the exact one I have in there. Does the Zaro system really compare to WorkSharp? I wouldn't compare them to WorkSharp. The Zaro system is comparable to TSPROF, but it's a knockoff, so it's not as good. But it's an all-metal construction, lower quality metal. The parts don't work as good. But when you're talking about the difference between a $600 system and a $90 system, can you complain that much? You know, it's going to work. It'll work. I mean, I got a full video on it. Watch the video on it. They work good. Surprisingly good, actually. Yes, I'm doing a video on the ruby still. Just got a fixed blade in it for cheap. Thoughts on the Burger King Ultimate Steakhouse? I haven't tried it. Haven't had it. Sorry. I wish I could tell you something good on it, but have not tried that son bitch yet. So one of these days. Recently got this Recon 1 though. Check this out. The Recon 1 in S35 from Midway USA. I recently got them as an affiliate, so they are linked down in the description. At least they should be. Midway USA. Right now, they have a whole bunch of deals on cold steels. Not this one in particular with the carbon fiber. Recon 1, man, it's so comfortable. And this is a damn work knife. You want a fucking work knife? This is a damn work knife. This lock will hold like 700 pounds. Literally, like not exaggerating, probably even more. Especially if you're talking about something like this or something like this. This thing will probably hold 1,000 pounds easy with that blade stock. This one's in titanium, so it probably hold just the same or more. Anyways, the Midway USA though, they got a bunch of great deals right now. Like I seen like Voyagers for like 40 bucks or something like that. I think that's what it was, something like that. I don't have one here, otherwise I would show you. I do have the Mayhem, though. You want to talk about a bad mamma jamma? This some bitch right here. Ooh, this motherfucker is... Now that's a damn knife. And for a folding knife, for those of you that don't know in here, this, when I said 1,000 pounds, I'm not exaggerating. Like, these are locks. These are the strongest locks on the planet. This is the Atlas lock. This is the Triad lock. And you're talking about literally, these are stronger than a lot of fixed blades. It's incredible how strong they are. Basically, the more stress you put on it, the stronger it gets. I've seen whatchamacallit, lifted a car with one. But so this is something you can actually have a folder of with fast deployment, right? And you can chop with it, you can baton with it, you can do anything with it. It's amazing. And stuff like this, with this geometry, you can pry with it, you can do whatever. You don't have to worry about it failing on you. And even though, look at that, look how smooth that is. And this thing is a damn bank vault. It's crazy how strong they are. But these, man, yeah, you can use it actually as a machete, a fighting knife. And this is actually slicey. This is actually pretty slicey. So, but you can baton with it. This one's S35VN. Love this damn thing. Like, if this is a zombie knife right here, damn zombie knife / survival knife. Like, this is what you would want. Because, you know, it's battle tested, if that makes sense. So, like, if you need a knife where it's like, I want a knife that I can fold, I can carry, compact, but I can slash, slice, chop, do all that good stuff. And I want to make sure that I have at least a year's worth of killing zombies and surviving out in the fucking wilderness. No, 3 to 5 years without, you know, any problems with the lock or anything. You'll come back with this and it'll be like it's still brand new. The lock. It's crazy. I just watch, if you watch Luke, he's the new face of Cold Steel. He's built one of the testing machines for testing the strength of them. One of them, it maxed it out. Literally, it maxed the scale out where they couldn't go any stronger, and it was perfectly fine. I forget how much weight that was, but it was a lot. The American Lawman, yeah, is underrated for sure. They have one of those on there too. What's the zombie killer called again? The Mayhem, the Cold Steel Mayhem. Tell you what, if you want a serious knife, this is it. The Mayhem. Cold Steel Mayhem. Just make sure you use my damn link. Like I said, Midway, USA, Midway, down in the description. You can use that link. You can even go to my Amazon link and find them, but you might be able to get a better deal at the USA Midway. But if not, check out my Amazon link. You can also get them on the Blade HQ link, GP Knives, DLT. All the knife dealers are down there. All of them will be good. But this is a serious badass knife. And what's cool is how slicey it still is. Like, it slices good. Like, it's a great, I need to strop it, but I mean, this thing is a good slicer. It comes with a nice low edge angle. They typically come with sharp edges, like really sharp edges. Costa does a really good job. I got to give them a lot of credit. And that damn lock, man. You just can't beat it. Like, nothing beats it. Everything has tried to beat it, but nothing has. Like, the Shark lock has gotten basically as strong, but still, man, it's even this, the Atlas lock is supposedly stronger than the Shark lock. This holds over 1,000 pounds. And you know, the Triad lock and the Atlas lock, man, it's the thing is though, supposedly the one test that they did where they did the Atlas lock versus the Triad, and they both held up fine, but the Triad supposedly, after all the abuse, was zero wrong, while the Atlas supposedly had a little bit of play or something like that. Supposedly, since then, that was like one of the first editions a few years ago, that since then, that's not the case anymore. And now they're basically equal, like as far as how much abuse they can take. I'm pretty sure that's true too. But Jared, you need to send me an updated link list. Okay, I can do that. It's down in the description right now. But I will, Todd. I know you asked me about that before. I thought I did. I guess I didn't. I got all fucked up after Texas, so I will send you one. Todd, you think I should get the PDT CBN benchstone? I need confirmation before I do. Outcast, I would recommend if you're going to get bench stones, I would not get the PDT CBM bench stones. I would get one or two. I would either get my hybrids, which you don't have to get them directly from me. Go to my UKSG link down in the description. UKSG, they're out of Europe, but they have some too, and they're just hybrids, hybrid bonded stones. Get the hybrids, or get resin bond. Now PDT has a resin bond. Get the resin bond. The reason why I'm saying that is because the CBN metal bonded stones from PDT, they're great. But once you get over 1,000 grit, 1,100 grit, they don't do good. They're not, even their testing, after my testing, I came out public with that. And then I found out that they actually came to the same conclusion that I did, that their stones are not good over a certain grit for the metal bonds. Just saying. So you want hybrids or resin bonds if you ever want to go over 1,000 grit. That's all I'm saying. You can get them up to 1,000 grit if you want. But if you're getting bench stones, the metal bonds are way more expensive. Just get the hybrids or the resin bonds, man. They're the shit. And you can just get a full set of the same ones. I use a diamond sharpener, and it's so fun to do. And I want to get different grits to get better, or to have a sharper knife. Absolutely, man. And I appreciate you liking the videos. Remember, guys, whoever's a member, tomorrow I'm doing a live knife sale, and I'm going live early with the members. So if you are a member, you will have first come, first serve for the knife sale. The giveaway will be in a few days for the members, but tomorrow specifically, when we do the live about 7 p.m. Central Time, I will have a bunch of the stuff that'll be available in the knife sale, and you will get first dibs on it if you are a member. Then at 8 o'clock, approximately 8:15, maybe 8:30, something like that, whenever, however fast we can get through them, we'll go live publicly, and everybody will have a chance if they want to get one of the knives. Now, there's not going to be any negotiations tomorrow. If they don't sell, I'm just going to throw them to the side. We're going to get to the next one. I'm going to do my best to make it as organized as possible. So tomorrow is basically a whatnot auction. It's just not an auction. It's a knife sale. So I'm doing a knife sale tomorrow. I'm not doing on the 18th. Supposedly whatnot is allowing people to go on there and do an auction without them taking a percent. Maybe I'll do that on that day. Maybe on the 18th, I might do that. I don't know. It is cool doing the auction. I do like letting people bid on them and stuff. So maybe we'll do that on the 18th, maybe. But the reason why I wouldn't go on there is because I got to break them off their percent. They don't pay me to go on there anymore. I'm not like being like sponsored to go on there anymore. So when I go on there, I'm just selling stuff. The reason why they wanted me on there was because of the audience. I already got the audience. I don't have no problem selling knives. So the coolest thing is their site is easy to use. So that's cool, right? I can easily print the logos, this and that. I don't have to type in all the bullshit. That is awesome. So maybe on the 18th, I'll do it, because since they're not taking a cut, but giving them 8%. And then, you got to think later on, I got to pay taxes on that shit, right? So fucking, it winds up killing me, giving them 8%, then paying taxes at the end of the year, and, the shipping and just everything. So it's, whatever, but not a big deal. I'm not bitching or anything. Arkansas stones are great as long as it's simple steels. I say 154 cm and lower, they're fine on. I typically won't even use them for that. I typically will use diamonds on everything, but Arkansas stones are great. If you get an aluminum oxide or a silicon carbide stone for your first stone, or even a diamond plate, then move to an Arkansas soft and then an Arkansas hard, and then you can go to a translucent from there if you want. They're great, but you typically want to stay around the simple steels, 420s, 440s, 9CRs, maybe AEBL, 14C28N. Those are all good steels for stuff like that. AUS 10, AUS 8, N690, those types of steels. Carbon steels, softer steels, simple steels. But once you get to premium steels, you don't want to use those. There's a test they did on K390, and it showed like that it was not hard enough to cut the carbides, and the carbides are literally hanging out of the edge, like little basketballs, just hanging microscopically, obviously, which leads to less edge retention, shattering, and stuff like that. And I don't mean like the blade shatters. I mean the carbide shatter on the apex, and then it feels like it's chipping. 11%, sorry, 11%. 8% is what they were doing for me. Everybody's different. Some people is a little bit more, some is a little less. They were doing me, I think, 6 or 8% or something like that, but I don't even like giving them that. Yeah, carbon, yeah, that'd be perfect for that. That makes sense, yeah. But I will say this, though, get yourself a field sharpener, like I just showed a second ago, the WORKSHARP field sharpener. You'll be even happier, because those diamonds will cut that carbon. So you can still go on to them. So do it with that, and then go to the Arkansas. You'll be surprised how sharp you'll be able to get it. The faster you can sharpen, the sharper and better your edges come out. That's just a fact, because you don't get fatigued, because it's much easier. Put it this way. If I said, I want you to hold a perfect angle for 5 passes, that would be much easier than if I said, I want you to hold a perfect angle for 150 passes. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, right? So if you get diamonds, you can literally cut your bevel in 1/8 of the time, you know, right? Instead of doing 100 passes, you'll probably have to do like 10 to 20, maybe. So, you know, it make things a lot. And I meant for something thin, like what you were talking about. I'm doing, so I never liked flavors, to be honest. Never. I hated vapes, and I never liked flavors until I got one of these. My homeboy Stasa23 turned me onto this. This is raspberry lemonade or something like that. It's like blue lemonade or fucking fuck. Yeah, blue. Let me just grab it. But it's this is the Lux. I know, I just fucking cracked my finger or my toe. Juice Head, it's Juice Head Blueberry Lemon is what this one is, and I love it. This is the best stuff I've ever tried. I don't like anything else, really. So, Blueberry Lemon, and Stas is the one who turned me on. He's like, man, he's like, I don't like anything else either. He's like, this is the one I like. I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah, anything over, basically, I think it's 66.3. So he's right, 67. You know, you can be safe at 67. Anything 67 will cut glass. But if you're at 66.3, I think that's where it will start cutting glass. I have a video with Rex 121 cutting glass. Just so you guys know, because somebody left a comment. Like, it's not even cutting the glass because it was cutting the surface. Like, you have to know how to cut glass, right? You don't cut glass like a saw. You cut glass by cutting the surface. So, like, I used to work for, I've done lots of, you know, custom glass work and stuff. I worked for a glass factory for a while. When you cut glass, you're usually using like a carbide bit, but doesn't matter. The point is you're scoring it. And when you score it, you can take like kerosene, right? Kerosene, you put it on the crack and you'll hear it. It'll literally be separating the crack. You don't need it, but it does help it cut clean. And then you just bend it. And when you bend it, it pops. Like, so if you do like a glass bottle, when I did the bottle, you notice I cut around the top and then I just hit it. And when I hit it, it popped right off because I cut it. So cutting glass is you're cutting the surface of the glass and then it'll snap. But somebody made it seem like I was supposed to be like cutting through it like a damn 2x4 or something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? But some people just don't know. Yeah, carbide glass cutters. Yep. It's a little wheel. It's good knowing how to do those little things, man, because when I learned because when I was a kid, I had a gun. And obviously I was a kid, dumbass little kid trying to be, you know, tough or whatever. I had this, somebody's laughing already, fucking asshole. I had this gun. It was a 380. And I know this is stupid, so I want to be clear. Obviously, this is dumb, right? And I already had been through gun safety. I was like 12, 13. I was like 13. I knew guns really well at the age of 13. And I knew better. And I learned that day, by this age, I'd already shot my brother. So I had already had, you know, some shit. But anyway, so I had a pistol and it was a 380 and I racked it, right? Or no, sorry, I didn't rack it. I took the mag out, dropped it and cleared it, right? Like you're supposed to, right? Dropped the mag out, loaded, the mag was loaded, dropped the mag, cleared it, right? Set it down. In literally this quick, my friend's right here, set it down. I turned this way, did something, came back, grabbed it, racked it, and then went like that, bow, right next to my buddy's fucking head. And it went right past his ear, making him deaf, and then shot a mirror to a bed. And went through the mirror, through the bed, and then halfway into the wall. And because I had to fix that, I had to replace that before parents found out and this and that. I was going crazy, scrambling, going to glass places, this and that. But then wound up finding out how easy it is to cut glass. I could have just, you know, I could have had it done in 10 minutes. But I was relying on this glass company and I didn't know how to cut glass yet. I hadn't done it yet. Going back and forth, paying them. I had to go buy a mirror, bring it to them, and all this bullshit. But yeah, that's why every time you set down a gun, it's loaded, right? That's what they teach you in gun safety, right? Every time you set down the gun, when you pick it back up, you check it again, right? If you set it down, even if you just set it down, doesn't matter. It's loaded again. Check it. And I found out that day exactly why that is. Yeah, I shot my brother in the stomach. He's dead now, not from that though. He didn't die from that, but he's passed away now. But yeah, I shot my brother in the stomach. I think he's married. Me? Yeah, I'm married. Rest in peace to him. Yeah, rest in peace to him. Yeah, that was a tough one. Yeah, do what you can. No. No, I didn't shoot him on purpose. It was an accident. We were hunting, and kind of a similar situation, just dumb, you know, kids. I set the gun. So what happened was it was still loaded in the house, and it still had one like in the chamber, and I didn't know this one was his rifle. We just got done hunting, and I picked it up, and when I picked it up, I triggered it. And I shot him right in the point blank, right in the stomach, ricocheted off his organs, and it wound up in his chest. Wound up in the hospital for a couple of weeks. They did surgery on him. He had to get his appendix removed, and then they got it out of his chest. But what the hell am I watching? He says, I got a lot of stories, guys. I got a fucking ton of stories. I have a nephew, just got out of prison recently, and me and him, I'm thinking about bringing him on a video. So me and him would do a video. We talked about doing a live, like with everybody, and just doing a live and having a conversation. But we're probably gonna do a recorded one. Me and him just shooting the shit. He's just fresh out of prison, but he's on his P's and Q's. He's trying to do right. You know, I do feel a little bit of responsibility towards it because I know he was following a lot in my footsteps, you know, obviously, right? I'm his uncle and stuff. And, you know, he was looking up to me, my old man and shit, and my old man being the gangster he was, and me doing all the gangster shit I was, is very easy to follow in the footsteps we were doing. And it looked cool, you know, the whole scenery, it always looks cool, right? It always does, especially to young, right? It always looks, because you don't see, you know, the pain and anguish you go through later, right? You don't see after you've carried fucking dead bodies and fucking nightmares and fucking all that shit. You don't see that shit when you're looking at it from afar, right? And you're watching money and hustling and, you know, handling business and doing all this bullshit. You see all this shit constantly. It's very, I was attracted to it too. I mean, same thing. You know, so, but, you know, my old man knew you know, the way I was going to be, just like a lot of my other family. You know, it's kind of like you just know, you know who's going to be who and who's going to be what. So, you know, I got started off early. You know, I was putting in work like the age of 16. But yeah, my nephew, I feel a lot of responsibility towards him. So, you know, now that he's out of prison and everything, you know, I'm sure that I know he's going to do really good. Me and him, you know, I've been, you know, helping him out and talking to him, you know, since, you know, for the past couple of years while he's been locked up. So he's been locked up for like 6 years, but for the past couple of years, I've been really trying to help him to get on a good mindset so that, you know, he doesn't go back. And he seems really good. And how you don't glorify it. Yeah, you don't want to glorify it, but you got to acknowledge it, right? You got to be able to talk about it, and at least to some extent. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about certain things. I'd never talk about anything that wasn't past the statute of limitations or people weren't dead or whatever. But, you know, there is nothing to really be glorified. There's funny things, right? There's things I can laugh at, humorous, you know? Like, if you guys ever remember that story I talked about when the cops came and raided my house and I was there and I disappeared and they sent the dogs in and they never found me. And my nephew didn't know where I was, but he was there. And so he's just waiting, right? He's just waiting for them to come out, like the dog on my ass and the cops like pulling me out and like walking up the stairs because he knew I went towards my basement of my house. And that was the last he saw me. But when the cops went down there with the dogs, they never came back with nothing. He's like, what the fuck? Where the fuck did he go? And he's like trying to figure out, like, how did he, like, he's trying to fit in his head. He's like, did he jump out of a window? Like, they have this place surrounded. Like, how the fuck? And he's trying to figure it out and he couldn't figure it out. Well, then all of a sudden, a couple hours later, I come popping up. I thought about talking about that story with him, you know, in the thing. But the truth is I knew eventually that was going to happen. I had a, what you could basically call a crawl space, but the way it was there was a brick wall and there's a stairway, and basically you'd have to walk into a closet, go under the stairway, and then really tight under the stairway, there was a couple bricks knocked out and you could crawl through, but you'd have to like army crawl through like this and you could right in. And once you're in there, it's big enough that you can, you know, not stand up, but you can get around. It's big too. It's like a 400 square foot area, but you never know it was there. And I had it covered. So like, if you did look like with the police and dogs, they would look and it just looked like nothing. It looked like a wall. So it worked. It worked good. And yeah, so but I knew that was going to happen. So that was like a pre-planned area for when I had to abandon ship in the blink of an eye because the police were coming in and I needed to make sure I disappeared. I had that shit planned for fucking a long time. So when I finally, you know, utilized it, it was like rolling rolling some dice. It worked out. It worked out, man. I was very happy with myself after that, but obviously it's not a good situation. It's obviously really bad. And they were so mad because they had been trying to get me for so long. When they came in illegally when they came in that time. Like, they had no right to even come in, but they were so sick of me evading them and that me getting away. I'd gotten away so many times in every way you could imagine. So they were getting upset, like more than upset. Like, they were getting frustrated. And so they started being willing to break the rules to get me. And, you know, it happens. That's, you know, that's what you sign up for. I did my crimes. I did my time. Now I'm a different man with a different plan, kids, wife, family, man. There you go. That's what's up. What was the big folder earlier? That's the Mayhem, the Cold Steel Mayhem. You can find it, like I said, down in the description. If you just go to any one of my affiliate links, DLT, Blade HQ, you can go to the, like I said, the Midwest, the hell did I call? In Midwest something, Midwest USA, like I said, any of the dealers, and they're under dealers. So just look for companies or knife dealers. There's a whole bunch of them. Ricardo, welcome to the Benchmates, man. Show up tomorrow night. I'm gonna be doing a knife sale, and the members are getting first dibs, and we have a giveaway coming up. Thank you, Midway USA. Thank you. Yeah, check that link out, or DLT, Blade HQ, GP Knives. Well, I don't know if GP has them. They might, but the other ones do. Knife Center for sure will have them. My older brothers went to prison when I was 7. I didn't see them again until I was 16. Grew up in the 50s. Love me some knives. Hell yeah. Yeah. Grew up in the 505. I thought you said 50s. In the 505. I'm not sure where the 505 is, but yeah, man. Everybody lives a different life. I think, you gotta. A lot of people I know are never going to get out of it. It's just the way it is. I honestly never thought I would. I truly never thought I would. But, just eventually, you just got to make that choice. And if you do, you make the choice. If not, then you got to sign up for what you're signing up for. And that's, a lot of suffering, man. A lot of suffering. Like, I've seen countless, man, I couldn't tell you. So many people I know, like close friends, family, everything dead. Like so many people from everything you can imagine, from murders, drug overdoses, fucking everything you can imagine. And you don't usually live an old life in this, and none of my family has. Like all my grandpa died in his 50s. My dad died when he was about to be 60, I think, or when he was 60, he was either 59 or 60. My grandpa died at like 57, something like that. My other grandpa died in his, I think, 60s. So it's just, you gotta take care of yourself. But that's what that kind of brings, My dad got paralyzed. That's why he wound up dying at such an early age. But again, when he got paralyzed on the job. But when you live a rough life, even that, doing construction your whole life, that has the same thing. There's risks, right? You kind of sign up for that. That's what you sign up for. You sign up for bad knees, bad shoulders, carpal tunnel, it's what you sign up for. So that's why you got to take care of yourself. But eventually you got to make that choice. Like, am I going to stay in this? And that's the same way with construction with me. Like, when I was, getting out of everything, I knew I didn't want to, because I watched so many people get hurt in construction, just like everything. Like, man, I've seen people suffer till the day they died, from just, living a brutal life. So I knew I didn't want that. And I already been through so much and so many injuries and everything else. It's like, man, do I really want to do this forever? And it's like, no, fuck no, I don't want to. Like, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did it when I did it. It made me tough. It made me learn how to work with my hands and everything else. But eventually it's like, man, it'd be really nice to do something else. Fucking anything else. Plus, if you're in certain environments with certain people and that's your surroundings, it's pretty easy to go back to, a certain type of lifestyle. So, a lot of those people, they, they're not scared to get their hands dirty. And I don't mean in the working kind of way. Are you not selling knives on Whatnot? I might do it on the 18th. I don't know. Whatnot, they take their cut. So I might on the 18th, because they're not going to take a cut on the 18th. I'm not sure. They said they might come and get me to do some content on there or something. I'm not sure, but I don't have to go on there. I can just do the knife sales on my channel, because I have, every ability to do it without losing money. So, and then I don't have the problems with having to wait a week for the money. I don't have to deal with fucking packages that I know showed up, but they're saying didn't. I don't have to deal with a lot of bullshit. But I might do one on the 18th. Haven't decided 100%, but I probably will, since they're not taking their cut. And every once in a while I might do it on there, but on the channel, it's not obviously an auction on the channel, but I typically do decent prices. Third degree burns, gunshot wounds, knife wounds, good times. You got it. You got it. You got it. Yeah. And that's another. I've had a lot of bad burns. A lot of bad burns. What's your favorite blade shape? So I have a couple, but harpoon, anything. Like, I like harpoon Warncliffs. I like harpoon clip points, and I like spear points. I like low tips. So this is basically essential. Oh, This is basically a spear point like this. So I love a good spear point. Here's another one. Spear point. I love a good spear point, but I also love a good drop. So I like the tip to be lower than the center of, I like the tip to be the center of the pivot or center of the knife or lower. So like this, great utility cutter, but I can still poke with it. So like this type of modified blade shape, I love these. I like shilling cutters. Shilling cutters are some of my favorites. That's why right now I have a harpoon shilling cutter in the works. Just wait. There's only 100 people in here, so keep that to yourselves. But yeah, I love me a good low tip, you know, whether it's like I like drop foots, like a hybrid between a drop point and a sheep's foot. Warncliffs, like I said, low tips. Those are my favorites. This is, you know, like basically like a sheep's foot. This is almost a drop foot. So this is kind of a drop foot blade shape. I like something that I can stab with and do a utility cut with, slice with. I like a universal knife. That's why when I did some of my designs, especially the inmate, I did it in the thought process of it being like a workhorse, of it being a working knife for multi-purpose. Drop point for me with the tip in the line of the center. Yep, that's dope. That's great. This is a trailing clip point, and I'm not a big fan of these blade shapes, except for this one. I like this one. This one's great. And this one's easy to do utility cuts. If it's easy to do a utility cut, I like a clip point. Most are not, though. You guys, I showed you guys this, right? The old Buck Marksman's back. Ooh, the old Marky Mark is back, baby. It is back in S35VN in fat carbon fiber. You can adjust this to where it gets stronger and stronger. So you can adjust basically the strength of the detent and the strength of the lock. You can essentially make it where you can't even disengage it. Like it's basically like a fixed blade. So these are back. Well, coming back. Got the video coming soon. I forget what date. Very soon. Fight. What's that? MC calling you out. Here? He's here right now? No, he's not here. Oh, shit, he is here. I had it. Behind walkers in 30 minutes. Let's go. You know what? I'm only about 30 minutes away, so that means I got to get going. 30 minutes, man. You gave me no time. No time. You know, I just seen him at a gas station and the fucking guy ran over my foot. Had to get it duct taped. I got pictures. I'm still a newbie at Deburring, but don't own a strap. Would buying one help me out? Absolutely. Yes, you need a strap. You need a strap. If you're going to deburr, so half of the burr is going to be removed by the stone and half is going to be removed with the strap. So the strap is basically for like cleaning in between the serrations. Think about having a serrated blade and cutting cheese, right? You got to clean in between the serrations, right? That's kind of like what the strap does. It cleans in between the micro serrations of an edge. So when you get done sharpening in your burr, you have metal particles wrapped around the apex, you know, like this, and you're basically cleaning those off, and that's removing the burr. And yeah, love you, Jared. Love you too, brother. Thank you for jumping in here, man. I appreciate it. MC wants his $2. It's so funny. Oh man. What your knives are great, but you want to make sure you get a good leather and a good stropping compound. Don't just get anything. Don't get the green shit. Go and get the pink stroppy stuff, 0.5 micron, diamond emulsion. Get one of my strops. I got the plastic ones. They're real cheap. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Get one of these plastic ones. Get the pink stuff though. I'm telling you, at least you'll set yourself up for success. If you get the cheap shit, you're going to be pretty disappointed because it's not going to work as good as you want. So basswood, you know, if you don't have the money, a paint stick works. You can use a paint stick. It's very similar to basswood. Just get, you know, the paint stick for stirring paint from like a hardware store. They're free. You can use one of those. They work fine. But leather is the perfect surface, especially for my stuff, for the stroppy stuff, if it's the smooth side, not the suede. Because the smooth side, one, it's a flat, very firm leather. So you can easily, the diamonds are just sitting on the surface, but they're microscopic. So it's very easy to find your angle and very easy to hold it going across. And, you know, you don't add any pressure, right? And if you use suede stuff, one, they can be a little bit of a more supple leather, but so, you know, it's not as good for this diamond emulsion. But more importantly is I can clean this off in like 10 seconds with Windex. The suede stuff you can't. So the suede stuff, you got to scrape, you got to do a lot more to resurface it. With this, I can use this same surface for years. I can just clean it off and reapply it, clean it off and reapply it. With other compounds and stuff, you can't do that with. It's not as easy. So that's the beautiful thing with my diamond emulsion. It's very effective. The sticks, you know, it works, but it's not going to be as good, I don't think, as good as leather. But, you know, a lot of it is technique, you know. So if you're really good at holding your angle and hitting your apex, like I always say, focus underneath the edge, right? You see how you can see underneath the edge right there? That means I'm not hitting it. So now I'm going to lift, 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 lift until the apex touches. The second the apex barely touches, I'm talking about like, because I always had a problem with that. Like when it just touched, should I go up a little bit higher, a little bit lower? Like I struggled with that. So that's why I tell you guys, lift the spine up. Here, let me get it closer. Lift the spine up until the apex just touches. Bam. As soon as it touches, that's your angle. And then what you do is, like if I'm doing it this way, watch my elbow. I'll find the angle. And then as I'm going across, I drop my elbow, but I keep everything in line. So I find the angle at the tip, and then as I'm going across, now I just drop my elbow to finish it off. Just like sharpening, but in reverse, because you have the blade shape, right? So when I start at the tip, I need to get the rest of the edge. So if you do it gentle and you do what I just said by just barely letting that apex touch, it will work. Problem is people put pressure. People go like this. The biggest problem is people go like this. Well, let me go this way. They go like this. I just rolled my apex. I literally just rolled my apex doing that. Luckily, I can get that out really quick, but that's the problem is people will raise their angle up too high. The apex, which is the part that cuts you, right? Literally the part that cuts you is the apex. The second that touches the leather, that's your edge angle. Civivi headbanger. It's good. It has good action. It's good. It's a little weird, but it's good. It was a cool knife. I liked it. I've heard the shell cardigan is pretty good since it's technically not leather. I don't know. Maybe. The best stuff is kangaroo leather. That is the best, especially for diamond emulsion, because it's so strong. It's like between 4 and 8 times stronger than cow leather, but it's like much thinner, much thinner. So you can put it on a surface and it's like rock hard. So it is really good stuff for diamond emulsions. I'm going to get some kangaroo leather for the site. Recently, I linked some to Southern Strap Co. They're out of Australia. This is a kangaroo leather. You see how thin it is? Really good stuff, though. So if you want the best, they are the best for the diamond emulsions. That's why I might get some for the site. But it's a lot more, it's more expensive, though. So it's, if you're good at stropping, you know, the cow leather is just fine. Yeah, I'm about to get out too. I got to get up early. So, dude, I appreciate all you guys. I love you guys. Tomorrow, we're doing a show with the members, 7 p.m. I'm going to share with you guys all the stuff that'll be in the knife sale. You guys get to choose if you guys want it. If you guys want to buy them, you guys can get them first come, first serve. We'll be doing a giveaway here in a few days. But for the sale, tomorrow, I'm doing a sale to everybody. So anybody in here, you'll be a part of the knife sale. Just show up at 8 p.m. tomorrow night here in this location. And then, like I said, if you're a member, show up early because only the members will be allowed in there for the first hour, and they can pick what they want. Don't forget, you're cut from a different cloth. I'm the fucking cutter. So we'll have some shirts on the site very soon. And yeah, work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.